Hello, everybody. It is your good friend Raph Sparser, your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster. In case you've been, I don't know, under a rock or something, we've been doing a whole series of live broadcasts the past few weeks as the UFC has, slowly but surely made things come back to normal. Tonight is no different. We continue our coverage of UFC Fight Night. Overeem versus Harris as the evening goes on. It's going to be a lot of great fun. There are 5 more fights this evening. We've already covered 6 fights in the prelims, but we're going to keep things going. We're going to have some guests drop in a little bit later. And more importantly, we are also going to continue cheersing those who get finishes. And if you just missed a brilliant knockout, I don't know what else to tell you other than you need to be sitting down and try and watch these highlights a little bit later. However, I'm very excited to join right now a good friend. He's a kid. He told me differently today. He said that he's lost enough hair that he shouldn't be considered a kid. I'll show you him, and then you can tell me differently at the end of it. But to me, when you see what he looks like, you can judge whether or not my ability to call him a kid is warranted or not. And then we'll go on over to another gentleman who may have some opinions on it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the host of the Jiu-Jitsu Times podcast, Kevin Bradley. Kevin, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm ready to throw hands a little bit just based on the fact that I do stand by what I said. I'm not trying to argue, but I feel very strongly about it.
Yeah, why is that?
There's a reason I wear a hat in most episodes. It's just because I can't stand looking at my own hairline. And I'm looking at you, Mr. I don't know if you could be like 50. You're one of those guys that could be like any age between like 25 and 80 just because
timeless.
You got that. Yeah, timeless. You're looking timeless. And I'm aging like a banana over here. All right,
like, you're fine. Listen, nobody feels sympathy for you right now, especially on my show. Like, it's a little different when I go visit you on your show and you're like, I'm in charge here. See, I run a different ship where it's way more loose, way more wacky. And I can guarantee you that nobody who watches this is going to go, Raph, you were wrong to call him a kid. They see you come on and complain and they're like, he's even arguing like a kid. I see it for him. However, you host a very, very fine show. You and the other Kevin Gallagher. It's great to have you on today. We're also going to bring in, so this is a dude who runs a page that I've followed for years, and we've only recently gotten close, and the BJJ Problems page is one that I think most people actually watch and enjoy quite fondly, but I think it's pretty cool. And maybe tell me if you think it's different. But it's cool to see that he's going to show his face because most BJJ memers, now they're used to showing their face. They didn't always do that. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the esteemed gent behind BJJ Problems, our good friend, Brett. Brett, how you doing, sir?
Hey, guys. What's up? I'm doing well. How about you?
Not too bad. So, Kevin, do you know Brett? Brett, do you know Kevin?
I've never had the pleasure.
I'm familiar with your page, good sir. I got to say, it's an honor to meet you. I run a podcast with the Jiu-Jitsu Times, so you might have seen me. You might have heard me talking to people just because we're bigger on audio formats. But it's an honor to meet you, man.
Right on. Likewise.
So, Brett, tell us a little bit about you. How long have you been doing the memes? You are one of the ushered in folks who has been doing this since what many people would consider the dawn of time, especially for a youngin such as Kevin Bradley.
Yeah, I think I posted my first meme back in 2012.
Oh my God.
Great year for memes.
Yeah, it's a great vintage. Yeah, I've been kind of cranking them out ever since. So I'm glad you guys enjoy. Thanks for the kind words.
You do very well. I appreciate that, man. I enjoy seeing your memes. I got a note here and it says, I don't want to tell too much about it, but we may have another guest joining us in a second. I'll get to that momentarily. But do you agree with my assessment that we essentially have a child on the broadcast as well?
Come on, man. Come on, Brett.
Who's the child? Kevin?
Who do you think?
Hey, he didn't know off the bat. That's a win on my part. Like he didn't know.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I was thinking you're seeking approval to bring an actual child on the broadcast.
No. Listen, you know what the
Kevin,
worst part is? I will
Kevin
say,
can go facial hair. I'm just saying.
yeah, I know, but you know what? Compared to you and I, child.
Yeah, I mean, but I have friends of all ages. I can respect that.
I mean, I'll tell you this much right now. I'm going to bring in maybe one more voice to discern whether this is a child or not. Maybe as co-host from the Jiu-Jitsu Times, Kevin Gallagher. Can you affirm or deny?
I knew this was going to be a witch hunt, a trial, I would have stayed home.
Kevin, I'd like the record to state I have shoes older than you, kid.
You told me that before.
It's true.
He's never said it on my show, to be fair. So this is the first.
2012. What memes were you typing in 2012? What was actually coming up? Was it in Braille or was it in some kind of like hidden code?
It was hieroglyphs.
Yeah, I was sending telegrams.
Community form or whatever.
Uniform. Wow.
You like that?
You
Kev,
really,
like, dude,
you're growing. You're expanding. Man.
I'm digging the roast. I'm digging it.
I mean, listen,
what's up, Roth? How you guys doing?
We're not doing too bad. This wasn't my intention to bring him on to be roasted. It is a nice consequence of what I guess I had in mind, because we have a large amount of fights that are going on this evening. We'll walk through them in just a moment. There's 5 fights, and I'm stoked to be able to bring a panel. Kevin, you're just joining us for a little bit. What are you doing that's keeping you from joining us a lot this evening?
I have my girlfriend over at the house right now, and she basically told me flat out if I go on another podcast while she's over, she's never going to talk to me again. So I'm crippled in that regard. I'm not even allowed to watch the fights.
There's a reason we just straight up can't film on Mondays anymore. You were telling me that.
Right, exactly. I'm walking my dog right now, so I had a few minutes, and I turned on Facebook, and I saw you guys, and I saw Kevin. Kevin was the last-minute replacement, so I had to come on and give him some trash.
Where are you that it's so dark?
I'm walking out here. You can kind of see.
Oh,
I have a river by my house. Yeah, it's actually
like
pretty
in
nice.
another hemisphere because it's still really bright.
Yeah, we're on the East Coast. Me and Kev are on the East Coast. So
yeah, bless your souls. We have one more person who wanted to chime in here, and I'm not exactly sure what they have to say, but I'm going to pull them on. Josh Storler, the Duke, what do you have to chime in for?
So now it's time to roast me.
We can't hear you, brother.
Bro, use your words with your microphone and turn on, please.
You might have to click off and come back on again.
I can't hear you now, but go ahead. You have the floor, sir.
All right, I was going to say, I'm gone for one fucking episode, and this is the B squad you guys bring on to replace me?
Wow.
Hold on. Everybody, I'll respond. Combined together, they're still not replacing your weight. However, I don't know that we're missing anything on any kind of analysis. I don't
know about that, Rob.
I would argue, don't ever show that again on my show. I will kick you off after that I kick off Josh. I would tell you this. The child here has more that he wants to prove than you ever have on this show.
Okay, no. Josh, you and I are not that much different in age, correct? Like, how old are you?
Oh, we lost you.
Yep. All right.
He
have the internet problem.
I was right.
That's a shame that you didn't have fixed. You didn't have anybody that would be able to support your claim there.
No, Josh is like, wait, Kev, no, for real. Josh is like 27,
he's a kid.
Right?
Yeah, I don't think he's that old. I think he's like 24. He's a baby.
He does not look as old as he claims he is.
Does not look 24.
Yeah,
I always give my props to Josh LeDuc because at a very young age, he was doing big things in the jiu-jitsu world, and I always give him my hats off. I can remember him being an 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid, setting up Zapateros with Gordon Ryan at the time, who was also young at that age at the same time, too. He puts some big things together at a young age. He's a pretty impressive young guy.
I just see so many puns to use for making fun of the fact that he eats. But listen, we like Josh, but Josh was literally like, yo, give me the mic. And I was like, cool, what do you want to do? And he comes in to do a very tired set of routine. Like, the worst part about it is if you see somebody who's doing old vaudeville shtick, you literally look at him and go, when are you going to say something new and funny?
To be fair to Josh, he's had a beef with us a little bit ever since we accidentally let it slip that when he came on our show, he was a replacement for, I think Seth Daniels bailed on us.
Ryan McGuire.
Ryan McGuire bailed on.
Oh, I was about to say, I was like,
replacement.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I get it, but one of the things that you have to learn when you host these things is if you've ever hosted a podcast and you know that schedules are hard to come by, you don't really speak out of turn when you get booked as somebody that is a replacement. Like when you guys bumped me for Boogie, I was like, I didn't say, hey, listen, I'm never coming on your show again. I was like, yeah, he's a good get right now. I guess I'll live with this, but I will yell at him a little bit later. I don't know that I'll yell at you guys, but I'll definitely yell at him.
We're in the biz, so we don't mind if we get bumped. It's like, sorry, Raph, you were a filler. We got a real star coming on today, brother. You know how it works. Same thing with me. Like, I appreciate the offer, but if someone legitimate would like to come on and speak, you're more than welcome to tell me I got to take the time off. I don't mind at all.
To be honest, there's a definite amount of times that I've booked somebody, and like it's why at the very beginning of Verbal Tap we always used to be like, this person's coming on today, and then maybe 2 years into it we were like, we'll see who comes on. Well, who knows? So
it's amazing how like running podcasts start to become so much more freeform. In the beginning stage, you're so neurotic about getting everything right. Then towards the end, you're just like, whatever the hell happens, it's fine.
I mean, I always think of it this way: if it didn't happen right this week, it's probably, it might happen better next week. If it doesn't, then who cares?
That's actually. Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. You're a guest. You can say what you want.
I was just gonna ask Brett. In a similar vein, have you ever had a meme that like didn't go over well?
Oh yeah. So I like to think that my job is twofold: to make people laugh and or piss them off. So if I'm doing that, I'm doing my job. But yeah, it's. I think last time
either way they're talking about you.
I was telling them about one time I made a meme about Jeff Glover. And he started blowing up my DMs and just threatening to kick my ass. And I'm just like, hey, man, it's funny.
It's so funny you talk about Jeff Glover because it's someone that seems to be so laissez-faire and fly by the seat of his pants. He is a bit touchy about stuff.
Yeah, he
takes things a little too serious.
Yeah, he gets his panties in a bunch pretty quick.
He does get his panties in a bunch a lot. But I love you. I just want to come on and talk to trash to Kev. If I don't get back, I'm probably never going to have sex again. So I love you guys. I got to get going. Stay out of trouble, man.
All right, get on out of here.
Rob, thanks a lot, bud. Take it easy, brother. I'll see you, man.
You have a great rest of your day, sir.
See you, bud.
All right, now that we got him off here, great. Let me ask this. I find it very hilarious to always get the behind-the-scenes nature of it. How did you and Kevin end up syncing up?
So the backstory, and I think I've told this, I don't know if we've ever told this on the podcast, was I was writing for the Jiu-Jitsu Times. I'd been writing for about a year and a half. And I just started looking at all the content that was being produced about MMA and Jiu-Jitsu by a bunch of different outlets. And I saw that there was room for us to sort of expand a little bit. So I offered, because I've run some podcasts for fun with my friends before. I offered to my boss Kit to run a show, just talking MMA news, and he's like, I got a guy I want you to I got a guy I want you to work with. He's also named Kevin. You'll love him. And that's all I knew about him. I didn't know his last name. I just knew he'd be calling me later that day. I got a Facebook message request from a guy named Kevin Gallagher. He wants to call me. I get on the phone with him, and I'm like, hello? He's like, hey, man, dude, my name's Kevin Gallagher. Kit was talking to me earlier. Let's do the show. And I'm like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, let's do it. And then later, immediately, we just launched into our first episode, and we did an hour, just literally off the cuff, and it was great. And but then afterwards, he texts me, dude, you're gonna rip my head off. I didn't record any of that. He's like, and I'm like, wait, are you kidding me? He's like, yeah, dude, I goofed. I'm not a nerd. I don't know this technology stuff.
I have to say,
that reminds me. The very first time Because Jitsu, Drew Weatherhead, ever recorded any of his podcasts was with me. And he forgot, I can't remember, there was some kind of technical difficulty, the audio wasn't there or something. And he was devastated because we had so much fun talking to each other. And the audio was done. He couldn't publish it. It was hilarious.
It happens, dude. It's a terrible thing to see. I mean, I've had it happen, and one of the hardest parts about doing live coverage is you don't get a second chance. So I've lost a couple interviews that made me so pissed that I lost, and like there's one that's for the ages with me and Gary Tonin and Eddie Wolverine Cummings, where I said, "Hey, you guys just won, but maybe we should do something fun where it looks like I just won, and you guys interview me." And they were for it, and they did great. At one point, you have Eddie Cummings being like, "Raph, is there any water you need? Is there anything I can do for you?" And I was just like, if somebody sees this is going to be really funny. And I got home, and the tape warped, and I was irate. It changed everything for me. Like, it made me go, you know what? No more tape. We're going to do digital, even if it's shitty. In the end, it'll come around. And now everything's done by a phone. I will say this, though. We are going to let people know, because this is a fight companion, that if you are watching right now, hopefully you guys are on real time with me. We have Chita Rivera, who is basically going to come. They touch gloves. Is that where you guys are about right now?
Yep.
Excellent. So this is the beginning. I'm going to ask questions over here. Kevin, how familiar are you with both of these fighters?
I think this is my first time seeing either of them. I did a little bit of research on them before, knowing that I was going to be watching the card tonight, but I still have no idea how this is going to play. Brett, any thoughts on these guys?
I think I've seen Song Yadong fight once, but I've never seen Vera fight. They look like they're pretty well matched, though.
So there were some rumors. I don't know if you guys saw, but that was when Uriah Faber took the scale.
Yeah, he was an alternate.
I think he made himself an alternate by just weighing in. And I don't think he was necessarily close to this weight. He was just kind of offering his stuff. And I like the fact that Uriah Faber is so California. He could be like, "Yeah, bro, what's up, man? I just got on the scale just in case, something happened, man. I mean, I'm here."
He gives off the aura of just like, even if no one in the security team recognized him as a fighter, he gives off an aura of no guy that comfortable is breaking in. Like, he should be here for something.
It's a very California trait. And I've had the opportunity to interview him a handful of times, and he's always very gracious. He's always very chill. Like, you get the feeling that nothing really disrupts him. So it only makes sense that a guy like that who retires and then just goes, "Nah, I thought about it, bro, and nah."
I mean, he had his fastest KO ever in his fight back, which is crazy.
Yep. And I mean, it's hard because you can make the argument, man, he's still in good shape. He looks like he's got most of his devices about him. So yeah, it makes sense. So it could have been an interesting matchup between Vera and one Uriah Faber, even if we had to make some sort of weird catch weight. But so far here on the exchanges, it's looking pretty even. Brett, did you have a favorite either way going in on this, though?
No favorite. I think it'll be a good fight. I'm excited to see how it turns out. It would be nice to see Vera pull out the upset.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going with Song just because he's got more developed shoulder muscles, and that
got weird. That's cool. Before I thought it would, but is that like a qualifier for you? Do you look a lot at shoulder span before you go ahead and give your vote? A little bit,
yeah, like wingspan. That's a big indicator for me.
Fair enough.
I'm going to pick Vera because of the shorts then.
Respectable. I get that.
Now, I have to ask, Kevin, I didn't require you to bring a drink, but do you have a drink with you?
I do. I have a supply of Guinness that I always keep for such occasions.
I have to interject here.
Yeah.
I think it's a travesty that you're drinking Guinness out of a can.
I know. I understand. I fully take. That's the first criticism of the night. I fully take, and I own.
Send me your address, and I'll send you a set of Guinness pint glasses.
So that seems. Hold on, I just don't want to lead anywhere here. That seems like a mistake you would make if you were young, maybe like a child, right, Brett? I'm just leading here, but maybe.
It did take me a while to figure out that you don't drink Guinness out of a can.
Listen, when I drank Guinness out of a can is when I lived in the Midwest for a little bit, because I saw all these people weren't putting on a facade. They were just like, "Bro, if you got it, drink it." And I said, "Okay, great. It's either that or Natty Light." So I get the decorum here.
So to get a little bit into the weeds here, if you like the way Guinness tastes out of the can, you'll like it 100 times more if you pour it in a glass.
That's fair.
My first ever drink was a Guinness in a glass, so I understand that it is subpar right now.
Now, Kevin, we want to make sure we know how old you are. How old are you?
I'm 23.
Yeah, okay. Now, when is the first time you had a Guinness?
21.
Wow.
Okay.
There's actually
you got one of those really aged and sophisticated palates for beer then.
No, there's a very embarrassing story that doesn't make me look good at all about why I had my first beer as a Guinness.
Why is that?
I was in England for my 21st birthday. I was a study abroad program in Oxford, and I met this redheaded girl who was a local, like one of those. She ran tours for like different kids from different European countries, so she spoke like 5 languages, and I convinced her that I was smart, so she agreed to go on a date with me. And I realized, oh wait, I've never drank before. That's not good. And so we got to the bar, and it was like I didn't really think about it, and she's like, "What do you have?" And I'm like, and I thought the first name that came to mind was Guinness, so I'm like, I'll have Guinness. And she's like, "Oh, that's cool," and I'm like, "Yes, I am cool. This is good." And so we sit down, and I take a sip, and it's the most disgusting, putrid, oil-tasting thing I've ever had in my entire life.
But was it room temperature?
No, it was frigid cold. It was like this bar had been around since like World War I. They knew what they were doing. It was built low to the ground to withstand bombing. But the problem is, like, she liked me, and we ended up going on more dates. But the problem is, we'd always go to bars, and I felt too terrified to get anything else than a Guinness. So I thought that's just what I'm going to get the whole time.
I thought if Guinness
by the end of summer, I've had so many Guinnesses over the course of my time in Europe that I actually end up liking it. So now it's one of the drinks I like.
I mean, there are worse stories of. I actually thought that was going to be worse. I mean, at the very least, you kind of learn, like, yeah, I kind of like this. The way that you got into it isn't exactly the most like, man, I knew right away Guinness was a good drink. It's just you being like, man, I don't know, man.
So here's the deciding factor. If it was worth it. Did you get laid?
No.
Oh, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
No. I'm sorry. Hats off to you anyway for trying the Guinness.
She was a good girl. She was really nice. Hopefully, I think she's in Germany now.
So you've kept in touch. That's good.
No, it's a one-sided keep in touch. If that makes any sense.
Oh, okay.
I'm with a very good girl now, though. She treats me right. She's better than what I deserve, so I'm very happy about that.
Good for you, kid.
Yeah,
that's good.
Let me go ahead.
Are you taking?
I'm going to do this real quick. It does look like on paper, Song is ahead quite definitively in that first round. So here it looks like you're going to have to see Marlon do some work to try and even things out, just to go and make sure that people know. 3:36 left to go in the second round. Brett, you had a question. Are you taking it? Looks like that dog is providing a nice companionship to you, though.
Yeah. I was going to say I'm not taking, but I have a dog that would be very mad if they.
Oh. It looks like Song's been more active with the leg kicks. That definitely seems to have.
It's a huge difference maker, and for somebody like Rivera, you've definitely got to slow down his pace. You can't let him get too much into the fight. And it looks like if you were in the middle of a corner with him right now, you're telling him that you got to push the action, which I do see him trying to do here.
Yeah.
Did either of you guys see the first UFC event in Jacksonville?
Yes.
I'm assuming both. It was very eerie hearing the corner talk so loud during the fight. You know,
it was interesting to see or hear the commentators commentate on the corner chatter. Joe Rogan talking about the tips that the corner's given, and he's like gauging their effectiveness.
I think the other thing that's a little weird is I think there was some comments to be made that DC was giving clues to how to win. Yeah, and as that was happening, you're kind of sitting there and going, "Oh, right, I guess you can't hear just about everything."
I think it's something that like we've never really factored for, because the crowd has always been so loud that they couldn't hear the commentators, and a lot of the commentators are subject matter experts, and it kind of seems like something they might need to take into consideration going forward if they do this more.
I mean, there's not much else you could do. It's kind of like when you have a grappling event and you have a commentator who starts yelling out what to do. Like at a certain point, there's only so much you can control over. Oh, hey, don't hear that. You know, like, but hands over your ears.
At which point does it turn into a Houston Astros situation?
Well, first off,
shot calling.
That's fine. I would say that, you know, the Astros are a different breed, but I think of it more as a Bill Belichick sort of situation where he just kind of goes, wow, that's legal. Everything's legal. And you go, oh, okay. He gets to get away with it because he's Bill Belichick.
This is the NFL coaches when they're talking.
I do appreciate. Ooh, this is some nice stand and bang though. That's a great exchange between the two of them. I think that was the best exchange yet by Vera.
Well, he's definitely got Song. He just had him up against the cage. It looked like he was. Oh,
Song's got that first right cross that's just breaking through the guard of Vera.
And I mean, more than that, it exposes the angles he keeps finding out of Vera. Like his movement just keeps allowing him to get in and pop. Vera's coming back in on this. Look at this. Is 1932 on significant strikes, and then it's 23-31. So these are razor thin margins that you got going into the third. Vera might just have made enough of an impact in this second to make it split, but I have it split. Does anybody have it any differently right now?
It looks pretty even. I would not want to try and to judge this first round.
I think Vera's the damage he is getting in is affecting Song's, awareness, as he's getting rocked with some headshots, and that's affecting his timing. Like that's definitely that can definitely make or break a fight. It looks very even though. I'm interested to see how round 3 turns out.
I will say that Vera's pushing the action might be the deciding factor to push the round in his favor.
Honestly, like it's not just the pushing of it. I think that he initiated more of the fight opportunities, whereas Song, I think, has been really good at countering in that second round. I think that the thing that's going to be a difference maker is, okay, if some of these guys are real, like, what is your output or what is your percentage of landing? Right. And you can't always tell that. Like, that's why those stats are always so interesting to look at. And when you see it that razor thin, you don't know if one judge in the first round went, I like this Vera guy. Yeah. Let's give it to him because I felt like he had a little more oomph in his step. But if you're asking me, I think it's 1-1 even on this one.
Yeah.
If
Vera
you
definitely looks more like Vera looks more alive, that's for sure.
Well, right now, this is a great strategy by Song to go ahead and push him up against the cage, try to wear him out, because I think the idea is to dull some of that energy that he gets off of being able to not work from the center.
That's the Randy Couture school of MMA.
Great takedown, though. This is going to be a very big opportunity if he's able to make something of it. The great job by Song getting into the full guard over here. I don't know if you guys saw earlier, but we had a submission from full guard, not just any submission, an armbar from full guard.
Wow. That's 1993 energy right there.
Bro, it was the first time I saw a warm-up and said, no, come on. It's been too long. We don't get those.
Those fundamentals, man.
Absolutely. Kevin, where are you exactly again? I know you said East Coast, but I know exactly where
I'm up in Jersey right now.
That explains a lot. Okay.
Born and bred, buddy.
So if you're in Jersey, that means you're not quite back at training yet, right?
No, Murphy's got us at least till the 1st. And he's
Nice.
talking about extending it, but I know a few gyms personally that are going to open the 1st, whether or not Murphy says anything about it, which is scary. A lot of people are getting Gio just got popped, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's so hard for me because, again, we talked a little bit about this when I appeared on your show. It's Gio and Boogie are good souls. They're good human beings. I don't know the full story other than it looked like Gio was complying with the amount of people they're allowed to have down there. I don't know the full story of it, but it could be the case that San Diego doesn't allow anybody, period, in a situation like that. I just find it so hard to believe in the consistency of, well, what are they supposed to do? Like if you have a class there, I guess that's one thing, but it sounded like they had a small amount of people in there, and it is a big space. Nice overhand right by Song over on this one.
Oh, wow.
Get in there with those uppercuts too.
Brett, where are you out of?
I'm in Salt Lake City.
Oh, okay. How's the situation over there?
It's been pretty mild. We haven't had that many cases where we're not even on a mandatory lockdown, which is just a recommendation by the governor.
And have you gone back to train yet, or are you in the process of it? Where are you at?
Our gym is closed down following the recommendations. We're just doing online classes mostly. But yeah, I think we're planning on going back with restrictions at the beginning of the month. Man, these guys are freaking swinging.
Look at these percentages, though. 52% for Vera and 43% for Song, and that's the whole fight. Vera may be mounting a comeback right now, guys.
Yeah.
I like the graphics that they have on ESPN. They have a color scale.
Yep.
Red where they're getting hit the most.
What's up, Eric Robles? Good to see you, sir. I'm glad you're back. I hope that you were watching and enjoying from whatever illegal stream you were watching from. In between this, I'll be definitely getting a new beer as our good friends over. This is Hopworks Hub Urban Brewery, the Blood Orange Ferocious Citrus. It's delicious. So much. Robles, good to see you, sir. I'm glad you're back. I hope that you were watching. Who had that? Was that you?
That was interesting.
Yeah, I got my feedback on that one. I didn't need that. I like the sound of my voice. Not that much, though. 37 seconds over here. Vera going to do the standing switch over onto the side. He works from mount. Now he's going to get one, maybe two of the hooks. Nope, just kidding. Is going to go and barrel, fall over on the momentum, maybe look to go ahead and pass cleanly. But that might be good enough to win the fight for him, my friends.
He's got that like half deep half mount.
Yeah.
I thought what he was going to do is what Cejudo's been doing his last few fights, and that's like get to the back sort of, but then slide in and control one arm.
Sorry. I don't know if you just saw Marlon essentially finishing it out with a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sort of breakdance kick on that.
That was a Michelangelo move if I've ever seen one.
Absolutely, sir. And you know what? Credit to him. It makes it way more interesting. So I'm all about that life.
I'm feeling him right now. I feel like
my Grubhub just got dropped off. I'll be back.
Right. Well, we need to know what it is when you come back. So we'll go ahead and pull Brett back on in just a second. All right. So let me see this. You have it for Vera, I'm assuming, right?
I think here's the thing. I've learned not to judge too much just because I never know what the judges are going to do. I've been watching quite a few fights during my time writing, and I sometimes am just absolutely shocked. But I have it for Vera. I think Vera did enough towards the end. Who do you have?
I have Vera on this one. And I think that last round was a major difference maker. You could have told me a different sort of scenario earlier, maybe at round 2, I would have been like, oh, it seems like it's going for Wong on this one, but that last set right there did not sit as well for me. I feel like he really mounted on this. I don't know if you saw, let me see if I can pull this up. There's a lot to take in. So I'm going to warn you if you have not seen this, and this goes for our audience members as well.
I think I'm on a slight delay for the fight, but other than that.
Not a problem. I'm just going to pull this up as we pull Brett back on this. But Brett, before you eat, I wanted to make sure I put this on air so that we can all see it together. Is it
going to ruin my appetite?
Oh, boy.
It might, but that's not my concern. My concern is, look at this. That was Dustin Elkin a little bit earlier in the night. So if you see from this overhead any blood that is on that mat, I would say a good portion of that belongs to that man right there.
Wow.
Now, just knowing Elkin, he still could have won. Did he win?
No.
Yeah,
well, it was a good fight. I wouldn't be surprised if that's in contention for fight of the night. Vera should be getting the nod here. Are you ahead of me? Oh, shit. Oh, no. Oh.
Well, that one went to you, Kevin.
That's crazy.
Oh, we got a translator who wants a hug before she's going to translate, though.
You know what I'm confused by?
What's that?
Like, a lot of people are wearing masks. Felder is not wearing a mask.
Well, they've made it so that the guys who are doing the interviewing are not doing the mask. We have a return guest over here. Kevin, what's going on? What brings you back to us?
Well, my girlfriend fell asleep, so here we go. I had nothing else to do, so I want to watch some fights with you guys.
So either way, you're not getting sick.
Yeah, either way, I'm not getting laid, so let's watch some fights.
Well, Kevin,
I'm still welcome.
You're fine. We do have another gent that will be joining us a little bit later, but I will tell you this right now: we will be on high alert if, for any reason, you have to depart out of here.
Right, exactly. You never know. It could be moments away from the call. So
I just feel bad because she doesn't know you're on air right now. So I don't want one of these situations. It's like, what? Who? What? I don't know these people.
It won't make for good ratings either.
So let me see over here. Eric had, I hope Cheeto wins, #damage. And Eric Robles writes in the comment section, WTF? I mean, we were trying to nicely preface this, Kevin, when you were saying you don't like to call fights like this because it does look like sometimes the reverse can happen. What do you think happened there?
I feel the only thing I could say is that the judges thought Song dominated enough in the beginning, and that was able to maintain enough of a lead in the preceding rounds. You know, I think we all gave round 1 to him, right?
Oh, I can't hear him.
Can you not hear me? Guys, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Oh, okay, Kevin said he couldn't hear
Ralph,
me.
I'm going to leave and jump back on again. Sometimes that helps.
Perfectly fine. That is correct. Yeah. See you in a second.
But yeah, I would assume that we got judges that valued more early action and thought Vera failed to do enough to significantly impact the fight. I thought he did great capitalizing on that failed takedown in the last round and really got some damage in. One of the replays was that sick elbow he got. Yeah, I don't know, Brett. What are you thinking?
I think your analysis is pretty spot on. I think Vera did a really good job early on. I think Song Yudong actually pushed the action a little bit more in the final round. So who knows what the judges saw? I rarely agree with their decisions anyway. So,
I mean, again, it's always something that I enjoy watching afterwards to kind of understand the mechanism of it. But this will be interesting. They're announcing a new member of the UFC Hall of Fame, Gallagher. Can you tell us who they're putting in there?
Are they inducting him in the Hall of Fame, or is this a post-mortem celebration? Because he just died recently. John Randleman did.
Oh, really?
Yep. He's passed, but it does.
Yeah, I missed it. I missed the beginning of it. Yeah. Either way, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He was amazing.
For sure.
One of the original OGs. One of my my wrestling coach at the gym I train at, and a few of my friends, Eric Smith, used to wrestle with him at Ohio State when he wrestled at Ohio State. And they say he was just a machine and one of the nicer guys around. Just a super nice class act dude.
Very cool.
Yeah, I feel bad because Kevin
back in
Randleman
the
is
days when it was. You didn't. There wasn't the idea of MMA wasn't really a thing. Like I always talk about how MMA fighters now, there's no such thing as specialist anymore. There's very few, but you have to be a complete fighter. He was a guy that was strictly a wrestler and made it work because he was just that effective and that good.
I think Kevin Randleman represents a group of very necessary
Man, it sucks.
early MMA fighters who were, high level wrestlers that had to come in and show that they had the tough job of showcasing a sport that wasn't included in the early UFC. The first UFC, it wasn't added. I think we all know why, but because I doubt Hoist would have dealt well with some guy blast doubling him and doing what he's got to do. But so that all of them, that entire crop had a very tough job. And I think that without them, the MMA world would look very different.
He's definitely got a deserved spot in the Hall of Fame. So I'm glad to see they will be inducting him. So that'll be very good to see.
Yeah, man. We're losing athlete. We lose too
Rob,
many
I still
athletes.
can't hear Cav. I'm sorry. This sucks. I'm going to log back out again and see if I can log back in. I'm sorry for being a pain in the ass, man.
You're good.
No worries.
I
wonder if I'm doing anything wrong.
You're fine. Okay. It's him. He is a cell phone. Let me see.
He's not a nerd.
Julian Cano says, who fights next? Well, if you want to see who on this banner says, it's Eric Anders versus Krzysztof Jotko. So, Julian, hopefully that answers your question as we welcome Kevin back on. Though, as I pull you on, Kev, do me a solid. Make sure to turn down your TV if you would, please.
I did. I saw your message you sent me. I turned it down. Sorry about that, man.
Appreciate that. No, you're good. I just want to make sure we don't get taken off because, oddly enough, the UFC is becoming more sophisticated as YouTube is becoming more sophisticated in terms of finding out ways that you put their stuff in there. But he is going into this is Kevin Randleman, who's going into the Pioneer Wing of the Hall of Fame. His debut was back in March 1999 at UFC 19. He was a UFC heavyweight champion and a Division I wrestling champion 1992 through 1993. I mean, easily an argument can be made to come in there. So I'm glad that they're taking care of that now. I think we're going to find this more and more of people finding their way into the UFC Hall of Fame that we just kind of go, oh, yeah, they weren't in?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that happen? All right. How especially in the pioneer category, he was 100% one of the pioneer members of mixed martial arts.
The other hard part is, anytime you have a Hall of Fame, you're going to have politics. So there's always going to be these people that necessarily Zuffa didn't have a relationship with. And so when they don't have a relationship with, it does make sense that it would take a few years after the fact to get them in. But as a fan, you got to wonder, like, who the hell else were we putting in there?
Yeah, exactly.
Julian Cano says Barboza. I mean, Julian, thanks, fellas. Who do you think is going to get fight of the night, Barboza? Maybe. I mean, earlier this evening, you could make a case for it was Darren Elkins versus Nate Landwehr. On a night like this, it's a fight night. It's usually open to just about anybody. Barboza is always a good bet, sure, especially against Dan Ige. Reem and Harris, I don't know that that's necessarily a fight of the night, but it still might be interesting. Could be performances of the night. I
have a hard line prediction for Hill winning and also winning fight of the night, just because she's one of my personal favorites. I've been following her career, and she hits like a motherfucker. Yeah, I'm hard lining on that.
Okay,
audio stuff though.
I'm excited. I actually have not seen any of these fights yet. I turned it on. This is the first time I turned my television on when I sat down on my couch.
Oh,
So,
Kevin, can you hear me, by the way?
Your
I
girlfriend's
can now. Yes, I can. It was weird. It happens weird. The StreamYard's weird like that sometimes. You'll have guys that'll come on, you have to click them off, and it's always a pain in the butt.
I mean, all things considered, StreamYard is pretty user friendly. So I usually use a different web client, but I also don't like having to go through explanations for each time I bring somebody on. So I was like, oh, StreamYard literally is just click and go. Yeah, okay, you can do that.
We had Ray Longo figured it out. For Gokar, freaking Chavakian figured that shit out, man. You know what I mean? All these old dudes older than my grandparents figured that shit out. So
Julian
if I can
Cano,
figure it out anyway.
Julian Cano puts, I feel like the main event, sad, angry face, gonna be boring. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't. It's hard to say because Reem without the meat is a difficult being to understand.
What kind of meat are you referring to?
Well, you know, the horse meat, the one that gives you the special go-go powers. You know, and I mean, like, to me, it's always interesting to see the difference between him as that like bicycle cartoon pumped up version of himself and then the deflated version, and saying like, oh, right, when they're talking about all these significant things in his career, a lot of those were moments that questionably might have been on something.
I feel like I need to pause just because for so long, the only phrase and athlete we had to reference pre and post USADA was like TRT Vitor.
Yeah.
And now I feel like you've created such an accurate term that it deserves to be there with TRT Vitor, and that is no horse meat Reem.
Listen, I'm telling you what I see, because it looks like Bugs Bunny gets like the bicycle pump and makes him go up, and I go, oh, that makes sense to me. More so than seeing the reality of him going, huh?
I would counter with that one episode of SpongeBob where he's got the inflatable tube arms on the beach and he's just like jacked.
He looks. It's hard to tell which version of
that show is old.
SpongeBob.
It's hard to tell which version of Overeem is weirder. The original skinny 200-pound Overeem that fought, you know, light heavyweight, or the massive jacked heavyweight, or now we've got the deflated, fat, chunky, doughy Overeem that we see today. It's just it's odd.
Raph, please stop writing. Stop writing.
He is not young. By referencing
Raph's notes.
Thank you. They're called references. Thank you.
Wow, that's even better.
You know, I came up with several column names when I was in journalism in high school, and I came up with that pun, and I was like, nah, I got to be older to have that pun. Like, I won't have anybody like me with that pun at like the age of 16, 17. And I got to tell you now that most of my friends are dad joke of age. I can get away with whatever the hell I want. Now I don't even care. Now I'm just like, you deal with whatever puns I throw your way.
Has anybody watched that show Devs, by the way? Did you see the commercial for that? It was just on. It's a really good show.
Devs?
Yeah, it's really good.
That kind of creeped me out, actually.
Just FYI.
What's the show?
Devs.
No, I don't
It's
know
on
what that
FX.
is.
It's pretty good. It's not
So,
too bad.
gents, I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to grab a beer real quick. I'll be off for just a minute. You guys continue the conversation. Don't let the stream die.
Hold the show down.
You better. I'm within ear reach, so I can just.
Kev, what's going on, man? How are you, buddy? You doing all right?
All right, real quick. Now that he's gone. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Jiu-Jitsu Times podcast. I am your host, Kevin Bradley, joined as always by my co-host,
Don't pull this bullshit. I'm not your fucking show.
Don't put me down. Joined by special guest, Raph Esparza.
My goddamn show
for stopping by.
has integrity. It has substance. I just want to make
sure
you
Kevin.
guys.
You're the best straight man I've ever had.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, go get it. Okay, so we're back. Brett, you've been running a meme page since 2012. We're watching the fights. Let's talk about it, man.
When you were born.
Yeah, before I was born. Yeah, I was born in 2013. So, you know, that was just before me time.
The shady pubic hair on your chin is proof of that.
Gallagher, you'll appreciate this.
Oh, you kind of look like that emu on the commercial here with the sunglasses on. Oh, you need some sunglasses. Can you hear me, by the way?
Unfortunately, yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah,
You
I
hear
did.
me?
I can't hear him now. Son of a bitch, man.
You
I
can't.
knew something was. Yeah, I know what the fuck is going on with this damn thing. It's having a bitch today. Whatever. We'll continue to talk, and we'll try to get everybody in as much as we can. I guess. I don't know.
So Brett, why did you decide to create a meme page?
It never was supposed to be a meme page.
Okay.
We just, you know how when you're rolling and you're talking with your friends, you're laying on the mat all tired after training, for a couple hours. You have these like inside jokes that nobody else gets. And so I decided I wanted to start documenting that stuff. And the best way to do that turned out to be in meme format. So here we are.
I mean, you've got some absolute zingers. Just of the COVID memes I've seen, yours are definitely some of the like most cutting. Just because they're coming from a real dour place.
Yeah. I've kind of struggled a little bit with the isolation and I'm not trying to just put content out for content's sake. Like I really want to actually like, and this has evolved over the years. This isn't how I used to do it, but I want to actually put quality out there that comes from me. It's actually an outlet that I use. So yeah, it's been dark. It's gotten dark a few times.
I mean, I've made one. Here's the thing. I made one BJJ meme, and I was so happy with it. I was sure it was gonna go nuts, and it didn't. And I was so crushed inside. I took it personally. So I'm like,
that's actually how I feel about most of the memes I post.
Oh, really?
I'm always like, yeah, this one's gonna be great, and then it tanks. It's the ones that I don't think are that funny are the ones that do really well.
Absolutely. So remember how I was talking about dad humor, and that's essentially.
Hi, Raph.
Hello. When we talk
Raph,
about,
I'm gonna jump off again because I can't hear Brett for some reason. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm gonna try it one more time and see if I can get everybody to hear me. I apologize.
Fair enough. See you in a second.
This is annoying.
It's my fault. Blame me.
I don't. What I would say to you is when I talk about dad humor and I talk about this for people, like there becomes a certain age where when you're doing a meme and you put a lot of stock into it, it's usually not going to do well. But I've learned in my time that I just put up a meme if I happen to make one before I go to sleep, and then I just go to sleep. At that point, I'm like, I don't care. If I wake up and it's great, dope. If I wake up and did no business, then cool. But I'm not sitting there being like, oh my God, I hope people like it. It's just like, you either like it or you don't. Because at a certain point, it keeps you fresh on knowing you got to make another one tomorrow, or you got to make another one in a couple days, like whatever your process is. And it keeps you sane, because I think that's part of the reason why, and that's why I appreciate with Brett, a lot of it becomes the same joke over and over again. And I'm not a fan of that. So it's kind of the reason why we'll take a step back and being like, I don't want to do the same joke as everybody.
Yeah. Well, and I'm pretty close with a lot of the other memers, and we have kind of like a running joke amongst us where we say, hey, we just did that joke yesterday. Come on, man. That's easy. That's low hanging fruit.
The other fun part of that is that we're all trying to create, and I don't know about you guys, but when someone's like, oh, you didn't see I did that? And I was like, I don't pay attention to your page because I'm busy creating too, dude. Like, no offense. I'm not. Like, I got other shit to do. So how dare you think I'm stealing from you or even taking the time to be like, what did Brett do today?
What do they call that? Parallel creativity or something like that?
We call it parallel development in late night or in comedy, is that you end up coming up with the same idea and then having to figure out ways of being like, all right, did you steal this, or is this just something you came up with?
Yeah. And some pages you look at and you're like, yeah, that's a blatant ripoff. What a dick. But another page is just like, yeah, that's just parallel.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys what I'm drinking right now. It is Made It to Eagle. double IPA, 8.4 ALC content. It is from, well, it's from right here in Burbank, California. Who knew? So just to let you guys know how this works, and I mentioned this earlier, we only cheers if there is a finish inside of the round. That means either a submission, a knockout, depending on doctor stoppage. But that is kind of how we play the game. Round 1 starts now. 4:57 on my clock over here. You've got Anders in the blue, and then you've got Jotko in the yellow. Jotko's coming out a little aggressive just in his stance, so let's see what happens here. We have the esteemed Jordan Peitzman joining us in the comment section. I'm assuming he'll be joining us in just a few minutes.
Definitely.
I've got a local beer here too.
Which one is that? I want to go ahead and give you time to go ahead and shout them out, dude.
This is a proper brewing, proper beer, English style golden ale.
Love the cover.
Yeah, we have some pretty great breweries here in Salt Lake City, despite our reputation of being very conservative. I'm trying to look for the alcohol content and I can't find it, but it's been treating me well tonight. I think this is my 3rd can. I might have to switch to a new one because I don't have any more. So it's wonderful. I'm generally not an ale drinker, but I like this one.
Fair enough.
Proper brewing.
Nice little hook landing there.
So you, I know, are fairly close to the general region of where Eric Anders trains. Gallagher, what can you tell us about him?
I'm not too familiar with him. Is he South Florida? I don't know him very well. I don't. It doesn't seem familiar to me. Anders is in the Blue Shore.
In that direction. I don't know that he's necessarily your next door neighbor, so I can't put that on you.
I don't know that I've seen him fight before or that I know who he is. But if you say he's from Florida, then I'll go with that.
I mean,
if I may recognize him because the American Top Team.
I can't tell you that for certain. I can tell you he's out in the South, which is close enough. I always tell people that there are certain people that belong to you and that they're your responsibility. So unfortunately, it's part of the reason why I get asked by people who are like, hey, this person lives in Portland, Raph. And I'm like, and?
Ooh, he just got clipped there, that uppercut. There's definitely an aggressor in this fight and the counterpuncher, and Anders seems to be a little bit more of the counterpuncher. But it's still early. We'll see if Jotko can keep up this pace throughout the course of 3 rounds, because it looks like the tide's turning slightly here. That uppercut might have woke him up a little bit. That's nice. He's getting caught.
Oh, is he getting the takedown?
Nice work.
Yeah, I'm a little. I think I've refreshed a few times, but I think I'm a few seconds behind you guys. And okay, he just got the takedown.
You're just a.
Yeah, I must be a second behind you guys too, because I'm skipping things up here a little bit, but whatever. We can make it work.
So here's what I'm going to ask of this. Right now, Brett, what are you seeing that you're liking out of Jotko?
I'm liking his head movement. He's staying out of the way, but when he needs to attack, he's getting in the pocket and he's landing some really, just like that hook that he just landed right before the clinch. He's looking really good.
Kevin, what are you familiar with Jotko?
No,
I'm not. Oh, stop it.
Oh, sorry. Which Kevin were you talking to?
I forget there's 2 Kevins. Go ahead.
All right, I'm going Bradley and Gallagher at this point.
That's
Bradley.
That's even better. It's even
better. I'm not familiar with either of these gentlemen. I do like that Anders is working in the clinch and he's working takedowns from the clinch. He's not just biding time. But Jotko is definitely getting in more shots. Again, it's anyone's guess if this is a pace that's rehearsed. I muted myself so I can't hear what his corner is saying, but if he can keep up that pace and keep like he just got a good leg kick. He's really working the leg kicks. That's going to affect the takedown. And he's just shooting. He seems very active. I think that's going to work well with the judges, and it's going to do well to. That sort of pace demoralizes people early on if they can keep it up.
Wow. That was cool to see. I like the Jotko was in the action.
Oh, he just fell back into the takedown. Oh, but now he's shoot. There's a lot of great exchanges on the ground here.
Oh, nice. That was fun.
So here's something.
I think Anders is tired. I think this lack of. Oh, he looks pretty fresh there, though. He's moving around pretty well now.
I think you need to hold for a second. I think the difference maker right now, Jocko has been resilient in terms of trying to get to the back. You could tell like that's part of the strategy is to try and grab that back control. It's easier said than done because I feel like Eric Anders is consistently positionally aware of what he needs to do to keep himself okay. That's why I think the scrambles have been fun to watch thus far.
Yeah, that takedown, that reaction when he got to the ground was brilliant from Anders. Just like I love seeing him work around.
3 or 4 times.
That's a good round. That's a tough round to call. I think Jocko did a little more damage.
He was getting lit up though. He definitely took some. He looked rattled a few times during that round. So but it's definitely the type of round where there's not really a decisive winner. So to say who won it is to say who the hell knows. It could be any man for himself, depending on which way the judges want to swing that one. Maybe with the takedown, Sanders could have won that, but it's tough to tell really. Not really a decisive takedown at all in any of those scrambles.
Oh man,
this is stuff though. I think Anders needs to work on focusing on getting Jocko off his feet. Though.
I'm going to go ahead and put this on here. I think you guys should see this. This is pretty epic to see. They apparently showed Mark Coleman's reaction to Kevin Randleman being put into the UFC Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah. Mark Coleman's known as a crier, though. He cries about everything.
I mean,
did you just call Mark Coleman a baby? Man. Come on, Kev.
I did not say that. I said he's a crier. I didn't say he was a baby. I said he's a crier.
Get your references
he
out.
Tends to get emotional.
References out.
That one doesn't quite make the references list. If only because it's just mostly a being like, that dude's emotional. I'm like, Kevin, if they inducted Kevin into the Hall of Fame, you'd probably be like a child on this side, being like, I taught him everything I know.
Well, I am also a crier, so I'm not saying that to judge. I'm just saying that he is a known emotional person.
Well, yeah, I mean, he had that real breakdown after his fight with Fedor, where those idiots brought his daughters into the ring. Psychotic.
You say idiots. I say producers. Those producers outside are definitely like, bring the daughters now.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Let me rephrase. Heartless monsters that are great in terms of setting up a shot, because that shot is beautiful.
Yep.
That's a really nice spinning elbow.
This is a very aggressive round for Anders to be coming out again. You can tell now he kind of understands it might be close. And Jocko actually might get a little bit better with the pressure put on him.
That was a nice cross from Jocko.
He's landed some pretty clean shots. I think consistently Jocko has landed more the cleaner of the shots.
That was a great slip.
Yeah, Jocko's doing a really good job of staying just outside of range.
He came with that little John Jones front elbow thing. Did you see that? It missed, but it was still pretty cool. That kind of push elbow with the lead hand. This is where Andrew needs to win this fight. He needs to just get dirty and get nasty, hold him against the cage, work his dirty boxing, just try to like suck the life out of Jocko a little bit.
Now, who's burning more against the cage right now? Like in terms of just like standing up and either being that was a great attempted throw.
That was a nice little Uchi try, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He didn't get the throw, but it cleared his lips off the cage, so now he can circle back in the middle again. So it was effective.
Yeah. I don't know what his background is, but being from one of the Eastern countries, do you think like any sambo? Is that just because you don't see those types of throws very often, or at least I haven't.
Eastern promises does this guy bring to the cage right now?
Yeah. What's his ethnicity?
I mean, I'll tell you this much.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say that we had when we had Gokor on yesterday talking to him on the GC Times podcast, we talked a lot about that. We had Roddy Ferguson. We talked about the same things, that the grappling arts in the Eastern European countries are way more common nationalistically than they are in the States. You think of wrestling as a big thing, but boxing and striking, particularly in the martial arts aspect, strongly outweigh grappling arts in Eastern Europe. All these guys in Eastern Europe really, really work the grappling. It's a very common. Wrestling and judo is all very, very in the same way that karate and taekwondo is common in the States. So all these guys, like, they grow up doing some kind of, judo, grappling, martial art.
Gotcha. I mean, I'm still impressed with Anders really making the most of this fight. It seems like this cage work is really set to try and neutralize as much as Jocko as possible. I think maybe he understands he's got a nice reach and a good sense of how to use that reach. And so negating it by putting up this cage work is probably saving him a lot of grief.
It's also absolutely.
He's still got to do more. You got.
It's just tiring as hell too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Having that guy lean on you, to answer your question, it doesn't take. I mean, it's still tiring, but Anders definitely has the power of his base underneath and grinding and just weighing on top of him, pushing him up against the cage. It takes a lot less for him to lean on Jocko when he's against the cage than it does for Jocko to try to maintain his base and not get locked, not go to the ground at this point.
It's
it's tiring.
To more of the point, I think Anders is also doing a great job with level changes. Like earlier, we just saw him, even though he was pushing against the cage, he was dropping down, looking for that opportunity to snatch the leg. Really great fundamentals.
End of the second over here for
us. Just the question. The question still is just like it all looks good and it's strategically well, but it's not really scoring. I still think Jocko has scored more over the course of the two rounds that we've seen. Like,
well, sometimes it's not necessarily scoring as much as preventing your opponent from imposing their game. And if you make just the small amount of adjustments that you need to make and you neutralize half of their game, then you don't necessarily have to worry about being a stand-up game with them. So there might be that as a strategy. It is interesting. I think he's just trying to grate for the overall. I think he understands at this point this is a decision kind of fight.
Yeah, but he's in my opinion, I don't know. In my opinion, I think he needs to finish him in this round. I think the first round was close. I think he definitely lost that second round. It looked good, but Anders was definitely landing the cleaner shots throughout the course of the fight. He pinned him against the cage, but he wasn't really doing any serious work. He was just holding him there.
You're talking about Jocko is the one that was pinned against, and that Anders needs to get a knockout.
Right.
Secure that. Okay.
I think Anders needs a finish in this last round. I think it's 2-0 Jocko, but the first round was also like, who the fuck knows? So,
I'll counter with Randy Couture made it to the Hall of Fame doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, but Randy Couture also finished fights. He would use those things to take those off him.
Weren't necessarily finishing. I would say this is a strategy that you will see implemented a number of times. The difference is that if he's banking on maybe getting him taken down a little bit, even if he's not finishing here, he wants to look like he's the one positionally in control. Close on a single, at least enough where he can try and get to the back. Now it's just smothering him with the ineffectiveness to one Jocko style. I'm going to come over to you, Brett. I'm going to ask you, what exactly would you like to see him do from here?
From Jocko? I'd like to see him circle away and get control away from the fence. He's got because it's clear that Anders is the bigger, stronger guy, and he's been able to dominate from here the whole fight.
Sorry.
In the cage.
I hate to interrupt you, but I think it's worth it. Chance Snyder writes, just an update. AJ Agazarm is double nunchucks in his fight to one walkout.
The guy's such a cool.
Nice.
Oh, Lord.
Is there a fight that went on tonight?
Yeah, sure. So as we continue to watch this show, though, the interesting thing that I see on this one is, I mean, now we're back to the center. So with 3 minutes left to go, this is where you see Jocko can close the distance on all the time that he was negated. If he lands in a majority of extra strikes here, it's how he can pull away with the fight. And I mean, don't be too confident in what it is that you're seeing here, because as it is, we saw the last fight go a different way than I think some of us saw it going. So that is the difference maker between this.
He's got to deal with the fatigue of being pushed up against the cage for a round and a half too, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's handling
it. That leather, though.
He's handling it pretty okay for the moment being. So I'm impressed with his ability to say, "Hey, man, I don't know if I've won this."
Ooh, he's Anders is doing pretty well. He's fighting pretty well now. He's landing shots. It's the difference from before and where we are now.
He
needs to circle to
rocked Anders.
Right.
Nice shot overhand left on that for Jotko.
Look at Jotko's back, by the way, for getting pinned against the cage. He's all chewed up.
Yeah, this is the thing I don't envy about it. And I'm, again, not a fighter, but some of the folks that we have out here in California have cages that will grapple in occasionally. And I remember the first time I got pushed up against a cage, I was like, why would you do this? Like, why would anybody do this? This is fucking terrible. I don't want to cheese grater against my back. This is terrible. Speaking of terrible, I'm
down at the bottom.
Our next guest, this is a gentleman, an OG of this program, a gent of the mightiest mustache that can be found on any podcast out there. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, as soon as he gets his shit together, one, Jordan Peitzman, who just signed off. I think he's going to re-sign back on momentarily. I gave him a great introduction, so that's as much as I can fucking do. Now it's on him. A minute 10 left to go in this bout. Let's see how this one closes out, gents.
It's like Jocko's trying to. It looked like he was entering in the grappling exchanges there briefly.
I mean, I think Jotko's probably trying to get the last of this, minute that he can do to make a good impression over here, because that is the thing you don't want to lose to. You don't want to lose to somebody who's pushed you up against the cage the entire time.
Jotko definitely has had the best of the striking exchanges for sure.
I would agree to that.
And I also think he's done enough to resist Anders' grapple attempts. Like at the end of the day, Anders was exhausting him by holding him against the cage, but I don't think he capitalized on that enough in the third round. In the second round, he was much more.
Hold on. We're going to go over to significant strikes over here. It's 18-11 for Jotko in the first. The second is 15-6, and I failed to see what exactly was there. So he would be ahead in terms of pure strikes. And I'm going to go ahead and caveat that with, as we bring on the person who I previewed maybe 2 seconds ago, one Jordan Peitzman, host of Jordan Jitsu Doesn't Work. Jordan, how you doing, sir?
I can't hear you guys for some reason. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I haven't been able to hear you guys since I came into the studio.
I can hear you just fine. We're going to kick you out and in, and then let's see if that fixes anything, okay?
Well, I can't hear you, so...
Well, if I kick him out, he'll know what to do. It's very strange.
What do you say, Kev?
Sorry, what do you think? I think Jocko takes it.
I'll agree.
Yeah.
Although, I was flat wrong the last time, so what do I know?
We're good now.
You're good, man?
Yes, I can hear you guys now.
I think Jocko won the second, too.
So,
shit, Jocko's fighting right now?
Yeah,
he came at the perfect time.
Barely snuck in as the tail end.
Oh, really? Is a decision?
Yeah, we're waiting for the decision right now.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, Jordan, tell us a little bit about you in case the folks here don't know you. This is two of the hosts of the Jiu-Jitsu Times. You've got Kevin and Kevin, and, of course, Brett from BJJ Problems. Jordan, what should we know about you, sir?
Jordan Jitsu. I beat the shit out of chairs. I have a podcast called Jordan Jitsu Doesn't Work because I don't work. And yeah, that's about it. I run Subspectrum. It's another little promotion here in the Midwest for normal kids, teens, adult tournaments, and then we also do showcase events for teens and adults, professional as well.
All right, we're going to the results right now. So, Jordan, we should be able to tell you momentarily what you missed.
Yeah, I got to get these fights up. Are these on ESPN Plus?
This is just regular ESPN.
ESPN, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Unanimous decision
for
4-1 Jotko, who ended with victory. Do you know Jotko, sir?
Yeah. So I trained down at American Top Team for like 3 or 4 weeks. One of my buddies was moving down there to start training MMA. Jordan Young. He's over in PFL now. But he like snuck me into the dorms because they have like the dorms that are attached to ATT. And so I was like I don't know. I was like hiding out in there for like 3 or 4 weeks because they weren't supposed to know that I was living there. And then I was well, somebody's going to hear this, but I was training for free at ATT.
Well, yeah. You know what they say, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the new facility. I went to the old facility down there a couple times. I haven't been down to the new spot yet. I heard it's amazing.
But Jotko was living in the dorms there, so me and him interacted a bunch, and we actually he ended up going like to the beaches with us and stuff and hanging out outside of the gym. And so it's a pretty funny Polish dude.
Nice. You mentioned funny. I don't think that was the first thing that jumped to my brain. Can you tell us why he's funny?
He's almost like a video game character. Like he's always just kind of like he's always acting like a Dragon Ball Z character. He's always just saying kind of like funny things. Like he didn't have a whole lot of English at the time. I'm sure it's gotten a lot better since then.
Damn, boy's got moves.
It wasn't the worst. And as you mentioned, he's like a video game character. He essentially was doing a breakdance as if he was a Street Fighter character at the end of his fight right here.
Dang it, I wish I was tuned in. I'm just a few seconds away from getting in there.
All right. Well, we know that you're coming up very shortly on that.
Jordan, I got to ask, so when you were living there, were the athletes aware that you were just a dude that was just chilling out? Or did they
no, most of the like fighters that were living in the dorms and stuff were cool. Like they just knew that I was there with Jordan. Jordan just like told them like, hey, he's cool. Like, you know, he's not a fighter that's here. Like, you know, I'm not like on the MMA team or anything, but I was just there like training jiu-jitsu and hanging out. So like he's just to make sure that they didn't like say anything to me because there's like a big kitchen, like they had it fully stocked. Like, I mean, if you're a fighter living there, like that's a pretty good situation. Like the dorms were really nice, the beds were really comfortable. There's like a full kitchen that you could just like meal prep everything out. And then there was like windows that overlooked the gym, so you could always see what was going on down there. So that always like motivated me to want to keep going down and training.
Yeah, I haven't been down there to the new place yet. The old place is super nice. The old place is cool. The new place is supposed to be like amazing.
Yeah, that's by far the best facility I've ever been to for sure. But they would do do hip escape warm-ups, and the mats are like 100 feet long, like probably even longer actually. And they would have you do hip escapes all the way, like it was like old school like Brazilian warm-ups, like 45 minutes of just like push-ups and hip escapes and jogging around and all this, and then just live rolling after that.
Did you get the chance to roll with him?
With Jotko?
Yep.
Yeah. He was really, really slick. He at the time, that's actually where I picked up a lot of like my Kimura trap stuff because he was doing a lot of really cool Kimura trap stuff from like the bottom of half guard and like top half guard and hitting like back takes and arm bars and stuff off of it. So I actually picked up a lot of that while I was there, and that kind of influenced my game. So
nice. Good for you, man. That's pretty dope. Jordan, what were you doing before this? What was keeping you on the other side of the world? I know in Iowa you're always busy. This morning you got up to see a sunrise, which I was like, holy shit, dude, you're gonna be up all day today.
Yeah, I woke up like I fell asleep literally at like 7:30 last night. I don't know what the hell happened, but I woke up at like 3:30 in the morning, so I just drove out, watched the sunrise. But then today I was just working on some stuff in the yard and the garden and stuff like that. It was supposed to rain all day, but then it kept holding off, and it still hasn't rained now. Fucking 9 o'clock at night. I was supposed to start at 1 o'clock, so just kept trying to get some stuff done.
Nice. Well, let's see what we can tell you that you missed, and I want to bring this up because we talked about it at the end of the last fight, which wasn't this one, the one right before it, and I just want you guys to see how one Marlon Vera was ending his fight. Look at this. Like, what is that, bro? That made me laugh so exponentially hard. When I looked over to the side, I said, this motherfucker is going to end his fight like this. I'm sure he didn't feel like that after, they did the scores.
Almost hit a couple of illegal up kicks there at the end.
I mean,
bro,
we can joke, but that kick landed. That kick connected. So that's not nothing.
Did. But you know what? It also didn't seem to affect him that much. I'm pretty sure homeboy ate that like it was dinner. Which, speaking of which, Brett, you never even told us what you had for dinner. You got Grubhub, but what was it?
It was a local Korean barbecue place.
God bless your soul. Do you understand that one of the people I feel really badly for in this whole situation is the fact that, like, I think about all the non-eaten food and the food that is being saved by all Korean barbecue joints at this point. Like, they are saving so much money by not having me and my friends go wreck them after a practice.
That's one of my favorite places to go after training.
Dude, it's the best. Like, we have a place right near us that we would have just this monster of a day of training at an open mat on a Friday night, and then we'd all go to afterwards. And you felt like you did all of the work of training at an open mat, and then it went to nothing because then you just double down on the food.
That's why I go to open mat, so I can eat what I want.
I mean, that's why I go. I just happen to be around a lot of athletes who are always like, I got a fight coming up. But I was like, ooh, I got a fight coming up with obesity. So we're all doing our struggles, guys.
This is good.
I'm excited to see this fight with Barbosa at featherweight. It's just curious to see how he fares up. Everybody wants to drop down to featherweight now. I don't know what it is.
We had a friend of our show write on your comment, Steve Marcelo Arce, who said that Vera won. I mean, he didn't on the cards, according to the refs. But yes, there was a general consensus on this show that we felt he won as well.
What's up, Steve? How you doing? Steve's a good dude, man.
Steve
He's an awesome guy, big black product. He's in San Diego. He's
Yes.
friends with what's his name from the ADCC? I can't remember his damn name off the top of my head.
No?
Who's the guy who runs the ADCC? Kev? Mo, yeah, he's real good friends with Mo. He actually gave Mo his brown belt.
I saw that. I thought that was pretty crazy because I saw it was with what's his face? It was with JT Torres.
Yeah. Mo's a good dude. We talk back and forth on Facebook message all the time. I try to get him to come on one of my podcasts, but he won't do it. He says he don't like the spotlight, but he's an awesome dude.
Yeah, that moment when him and Seth walked out at ADCC might say differently, though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he controls the platform there. You know, like he's probably comfortable doing it on his terms. You know, I'd assume so anyway.
I'll tell you this much. I think that he has come to a place where he probably wants to be more out in front, and he may tell you and say that it's because it's easier to put a name to a face now that he has to be the face of it. But I also saw two people look like, oh, I don't want to go out there. Don't make me go out there. But okay, I'll go out. So to me, I was like, yeah, you guys can downplay that all you want, but you both want to walk out there for that claim.
Jordan, I don't mean to completely derail the conversation, but you do. This was something Raph brought up, and I got to say he's right. You do have an impressive mustache.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I gotta know if, based on what I have right now, do you think I could pull it off?
Absolutely, because I grow the worst facial hair, but for whatever reason, when I shave it into a mustache, it looks decent. So, like, everything out here is all patchy and everything. Like, even close up, this doesn't look that great. It might be the color. I don't know, because it's a little bit darker. Might look better than it actually looks in real life. And I don't have a great camera.
I'm getting washed out by a softbox right now, so it might, like...
Yeah,
the blondness of my beard is on full display. Like I've considered dyeing it. That's how desperate I am.
Don't do it.
So
just hang out in dark, like mood lit rooms.
Two don'ts for you tonight, Kevin. Don't drink Guinness out of a can. Don't dye your facial hair.
Thank you, Brad.
Are you guys watching people in a pool right now? Am I about the same point as you guys?
Kind of. I see a girl putting up two hands like she's digging out of a garden.
I'm seeing Marines break into a building.
Oh, yeah. So we're all seeing it. Yeah, so that's what I'm seeing.
I think there's regional commercials for all of us.
I got Air Force.
I've got an Air Force commercial.
Yep.
You can tell they all know where we live. I live out in LA, so they're like, go to the garden one. Let me go ahead and bring this up to you guys, which is, yes, Jordan's mustache is quite good, and I understand some of you are saying don't color it in, but I'll leave you with one name. Hollywood Hulk Hogan colored in his beard worked for him.
Wait, was that
Did it
was
though?
during his
Hold
hold
on. Don't come at me, Brett. First of all, you can't be named after a professional wrestler that's the greatest of all time, and then act like you understand that Hulk Hogan wasn't given extra evil characterness.
Well, thank you. I was named after Brett Maverick. Thank you.
I'll choose what I want to believe. Thank you for your facts.
Yeah, Hogan thinks everybody's his brother, so we'll just leave it there.
Nothing. No shot in professional wrestling will ever be as funny as Hulk Hogan trying to shake Macho Man Randy Savage's hand, but he just can't do it.
I mean, the best part about it is you see those clips and there's a reason why they stand the test of time. Like anytime somebody puts a Macho Man clip on, I don't change the channel. I literally watch it all the way through because I go, this man is an artist. Like, I hope that we read transcripts of his promos like we teach kids Shakespeare now.
He's got the little coffee creamer, and I'm the cream of the crop.
Stick to tail Sonic, kid.
More out. He just keeps getting more and more.
No, they just where are they coming from?
He doesn't have pockets.
If you guys are joining in right now, just to let you know, we've got Dan Ige versus Edson Barbosa in a fight that some commenters on our podcast today have asked, will this be the potential fight of the night or at least a performance getter? Hard to say.
Could be. Lots of potential there.
I'm going to go around the mat. Let's go ahead and say first to Jordan. Jordan, who do you have on this one? Do you have Barbosa?
I got Edson. I think he's going to be enormous coming down from 55 to 45. Like, I think he's going to be a big problem in this division if he can continue to make the weight. So I'm going to pick Edson for sure.
Gallagher, who do you have on this?
Kev. I can't.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Kev Gallagher?
I think he can't. We can't hear him.
Yeah.
He can hear us, but we can't hear him.
All right. I don't know what technologies he's using.
Well, I think he's on his phone.
Do they even have the internet in Florida?
All right, let's go on over. Bradley, who do you have winning this?
This might be a lazy pick, but just Edson. The pedigree's there. He's proven himself at the highest levels. I would love to see an upset though. Ige, from what I understand, is a real competent dude. I want to see how this plays out. I don't know what either fighter's strategy going in will be, but Ige definitely looks aggressive.
Okay. What do you have for us, one Brett?
I'm going to go with Ige because he seems to be more of a grappler than a striker, and I always favor the grapplers. And he's from the United States.
Also, yikes.
Yeah.
415 right now. There's a significant.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Armbar from guard.
Happened.
Yeah.
I'm just a few seconds behind, I think.
It's all right, Jordan. One of these days, you'll be ahead of us. I promise you.
Oh yeah. Well, it was the other night.
The other night for like maybe 10 seconds.
Oh, he was kind of doing like hammer fists from bottom, which I don't think I've ever seen.
I mean, there's some fighters that I'm
Nico Price.
back. I would say Nico Price is one of them. I would say Carlos Condit is somebody who's always fun to watch.
I was on a podcast.
Nico Price knocked a dude out. Damn, Edson. Down and pound there.
It is very strange to see, like, hey, in case you guys don't know, that Michael Jordan documentary happens tomorrow.
The new episode?
The final episodes, dude. Series finale.
I'm on 6. I downloaded Hulu for 1 week just so I could watch it.
Oh, it's magic, dude. The whole thing is great.
That's pretty great. Although I wish it wouldn't jump back and forth so much. It gets kind of confusing. If I look away from the TV for a second, I look back, like I'm not 100% sure if it's 93 or 98 or 84. Like,
I don't mind it. I just think that this is clearly a guy who is good for the times in terms of a documentary. because Ken Burns was famously, and I think we talked about this, famously was like, this is not a real documentary. And I was like, shh, that's not the time, dude. We're in the middle of something right now, and we need this bad.
Yeah.
I've been waiting till all the episodes are out so I can binge them. But do they go over the Dream Team much? Just because I was always interested
a little bit.
in
There's like part of an episode.
I was always interested in like them keeping Isaiah Thomas off. Like Shaq not being on for some reason. Like,
yeah, they talk specifically about Isaiah Thomas being left off on purpose.
Yeah,
it's also pretty interesting where they don't do a full episode on Space Jam, but Space Jam takes up about 5 minutes of screen time where you go,
does it?
Wait, this helped?
Which episode is that?
Sir?
Or do you even remember?
That movie is a treasure.
That movie is garbage.
It's an American institution.
You know
Brett,
why it's
thank
garbage?
you.
Here's why it's garbage.
It's
90 minutes of Looney Tunes characters sucking Michael Jordan's dick, and you don't need that, dude.
Well, they're making another one with LeBron James.
Guess what they're gonna do to LeBron James on that one? I will tell you this. I
It's a
actually
good fight.
don't mind them making one with LeBron James. I don't think Michael Jordan was a great actor per se, but I think that LeBron is probably maybe about the same level as Jordan.
No. I think he's way better. Charles Barkley really shined in that movie, in my opinion. Like, he was great.
I liked Larry Bird too.
Larry Bird was in Space Jam?
Yeah.
Briefly, yeah.
Oh man, I haven't seen that movie in a long time. Then, shit.
Call it up on your Netflix and remind yourself of the garbage it is, because like I remember going there and saying, oh, I want to see this. This could be cute. It could be funny. And I did not laugh at all. The only time I got an actual laugh was when Bill Murray shows up and I go, thank you. An actual funny person showing up. And Bill Murray is a god. He can do no wrong. So
Bugs Bunny is hilarious. Shut your whore mouth.
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny, yeah. Okay. Tell me one funny joke.
There's a clear line being divided in this this podcast.
Why do you think
like which side I'm
you
on?
dorks over on the other side?
It's all three of us in the corners.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're a Space Jam fan as well, George?
Got you cornered, Raph.
I have one disclaimer, is that I haven't seen it since I was a kid, and I kind of want to keep it that way because I remember it being great, and I kind of just want to keep it that way.
Yeah.
Great. That's a really good philosophy.
There's exactly one problem, and that's there's this scene where Bugs Bunny is like, "Oh, Michael's shoes," and then it cuts to a guy with Bugs Bunny, like it just shows a clearly human guy with Bugs Bunny hands, like he's put on a Bugs Bunny costume, putting the shoes in the bag. It is very jarring and very disturbing.
That's the one moment you have. That's the one that ruined the magic for you.
They had the budget, man. They had to stay within the budget.
I mean, but here's the thing: Roger Rabbit did a better job, and it came out like before this movie.
True.
So
what are you arguing for? Are you arguing for me or against me? Because
no, I'm just saying I'm gonna concede that there's exactly one part of the movie that I don't like, and that's it.
Okay, well, listen, I'll just tell you this much. It's not good. Any of you guys who like it, I totally understand that you're not smart. And it's fine if you like lesser films. It's okay. I don't besiege you for any of that.
Oh, that elbow from Barboza.
We very much appreciate that, Raph.
You're welcome. Knee, though, return. I like that. It's a good fight on our hands, gents. Does anybody feel a certain way? I'll go over to you, Brett. Did you have that scored any particular way in the first round?
You know, I want to score it to Iggy, but I think Barboza took that round for sure.
I'll go over to Jordan. Jordan, how about you? Ooh.
I was far too wrapped up in the Space Jam talk to even be able to score the first round. So I'll pay attention for the second.
Well, yeah.
They're swanging.
I would actually give it to Iggy just because I might have been seeing things, but I feel like Barboza reacted more to the damage, and I feel like that'll play with the judges a little bit more. Just because a comment that was made on one of the past events is that judges sometimes have fan reaction that affects their decision making. And without that, I feel like they may be looking at different stimuli, and I don't know. That was something that I noticed. So, oof. Iggy is quick.
Yeah, he is.
He's quick with that jab.
I think Iggy's pissed that he bled his own blood.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
I think he saw like a little snippet of it and was just like, "Oh, fuck you, bitch! Now it's on."
Underrated movie.
Absolutely, that's different. I will
Yes,
say
that's
one
all
thing
good.
on Space Jam: wonderful soundtrack. I will give it that.
Time
Yeah, but
keeps on
R. Kelly,
slipping.
bro.
Ooh.
I'm not talking about R. Kelly. I'm talking about Seal. I'm talking about Quad City DJ. I'm talking about LL Cool J.
But the main track of the soundtrack is R. Kelly.
What? No, not to other people. Maybe to
Fly
white
Like
people.
an Eagle was Fly Like an Eagle was
Hey,
R. Kelly?
don't group us all together.
Have
Well,
you seen the R. Kelly documentary?
Yeah, of course.
You should watch it.
I
I didn't need to see any part of it. You know what? The I think it's Questlove who put it very, very aptly. He's like, I've been telling you guys, R. Kelly's has been trash for ages. And like, I remember the first time I heard the rumor that R. Kelly married Aaliyah, and I was like, I think I might have been Aaliyah's age. And I was like, that doesn't work. She should not be married to him. And people were like, no, it's not real. And then all of a sudden you find out, like, oh, yeah, for sure it was real.
Yeah, it's some shady shit.
That is some darkness.
Whew.
I wasn't sure what that was in reference to, but I'm just going to go past it. I'm going
So back to the fight.
Eric Robles says, well, we'll be about to see if the second or third round is affected by Barbosa's weight cut. Yeah, that's a potentially smart thing to bring up here. The weight differential is a little bit there.
Yeah, I was gonna say something about that, but
Well, go with your instincts, friend. Don't hold back.
I'm good. I'm good at memes, not commentary.
Hey, listen,
man.
you know, all you have to do is just give honest reactions. That's all we're looking for.
If Stephen A. Smith can comment on MMA fights, I feel like you're overqualified to comment on MMA fights.
Good call. Good call.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
And there goes any chance I have at working at ESPN. So
I think that's probably why they haven't been grappling.
I'm so entertained by this, Jordan. I hope that in the future we all get the ability to go to some other sport. Like, I hope that I get the ability to go to like volleyball after I make it as a jiu-jitsu and MMA journalist and being like, these people need to get it together. They keep hitting that ball over the net and they don't know what they're doing.
I mean, this pitcher, his whole job is to throw a ball so the other guy can't hit it. The guy hit it a few times. Get a new pitcher, man.
I mean, you know, the interesting thing about commentary for doing any kind of fight sport is it's best if you just kind of articulate what your strengths are. So if you know grappling a lot, lean on that. And if you really, really think about it, like when I've gone to do coverage for kickboxing or, local MMA fights, I find it so fascinating when I'll make a note and I go, oh, that's not finished. Stop saying it's finished. And they'll go, what do you mean? I was like, that Darce isn't in, dude. Like, yeah. This is my area, so don't mind me. Beautiful. And taking advantage of the situation right over here. For a split second, it looked like Iggy was going to go into rubber guard, and it was like, oh, yeah, I don't do that. Sorry, guys. I'm going to take a whole bunch of punches as a result of it.
That's off-brand for me.
I mean, don't get me wrong. When you're grappling with somebody, sure. But it's like one of those things where he goes, ooh, this should work. Nope, it's not working right now. End of the second. We go to the third. I mean, Barbosa's looking good right now, dude.
Yeah, that was his round for sure.
Looks like the conditioning is still there regardless of the weight cut, so that's good.
Jordan, if I ask you right now, what would you tell one Iggy in his corner right now? What would you tell him?
Whoop his ass, Seabass.
All right. It's a little bit better than M&R your way through this. So that's good.
Give him the old dick twist.
Dick. I see that I'm going to the wrong people. Bradley, what do you have for us?
I would say, look at MMA legend Dylan Dennis, and if you're getting beat up, pull guard and then go for a toe hold. It's there. Just do it, dude.
Here's a question. How many times have you just basically gone for a reckless toe hold, Bradley?
Ever since I saw my hero Dylan Dennis do it, no less than 100 times. Easily.
I hope that you're ironically calling him your hero.
No, here's the thing. Okay, yes, I am. Here's the thing. We had Joe Lozon on the show, and he actually was weirdly like cool with Dylan. He said like, you know, he beat me at a Grappler's Quest or something like a few years ago, and I took him and his family out to lunch after. He's a real sweet kid, and I'm like, I don't think you've met him in a few years.
Yeah. Are we talking about the same Dylan Dennis?
Yes, Dylan Big Poppy Dennis. Dylan, the greatest grappler in MMA, Dennis.
I like to.
Oh, somebody just hit a dragon sleeper on the fight to win.
What?
Yep.
Who was it? Did anybody know? Or did it just
I don't know. Somebody hit me up and tagged me in it. So
that's 940, so it's probably like, oh, never mind. They're doing a lot less matches, aren't they?
Yeah. But I mean, my buddy who tagged me in it was the one that I did a WWE BJJ sketch. And it was me. John Combs did it as well. It's really stupid and really silly, but like it's done well over the years. But like the Dragon Sleeper is one that I told people, I'm like, listen, this is a move that I choose not to use on people because I don't think I'm going to have training partners if I use it too often.
I'm not gonna lie, fully admitting I didn't know what a Dragon Sleeper was, and I just looked it up, and I straight up don't believe you that someone pulled this off in a fight. Ouch!
Yeah,
Jesus.
Some people will try and call it other names in our sport, but I mean, the Ultimo Dragon used to use it as a pro wrestling finisher, and it predates that. So I mean, like it's nasty, dude. Like the person who did it to me, and I was kind of offended when they did it. Just not that like it was like, oh, how dare you? I can't believe you would. It was more so like, oh shit, I can't believe I got caught with a pro wrestling move. It was Jordan Hawley, man. Jordan, like he doesn't give a fuck, and we were trying to go a little easy on him. Not like I thought I would win against him, but like he was fighting that next day. We had a match the next day. And this motherfucker was throwing the kitchen sink at me. It's like, well, dude, I'm not good, man. Like, what the fuck do you think this is? And then when he was doing it, I was just kind of like, yeah, you do seem like the kind of dirtbag that would do this. That makes sense, Jordan.
You got to prove the point, man.
Did anyone see that crazy maniac who pulled off a Boston Crab in an MMA fight like a year or two ago?
That would also be another WWE BJJ breakdown that we did.
Yeah.
So
Chris Jericho reposted it and said the walls of Jericho show up in MMA, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
It's great. I mean, the funny part is like one of my friends sent me a note and they're like, "Is this fake?" And I told them I was like, "No, it's just the dude who was underneath was just super stupid." And I think probably was like, "There's no way." Oh, I'm in a Balls of Jericho. You dig. But I mean, like, you know, it's like I've told Jordan, it's like nobody ever is nervous that I'm going to beat them with an armbar. They're all scared shitless that I'm going to hit them with a pro wrestling move. And this is people who are better than me and not, because people who are better than me are like, oh, if Raph taps me, it's fine. Like, no big deal. But if he taps me with a pro wrestling move, I'm never going to live it down.
It's embarrassing.
It is.
Nobody's gotten me with one yet. But
have you gotten somebody with a pro wrestling move though?
I've gotten the Dragon Sleeper on somebody in training before.
Jesus.
So you're that dirtbag too. Good to know. Thanks, Jordan.
Yeah, and it was somebody we know.
Oh shit. Okay. I mean, we have a pretty big circle between the two of us, so that's good to know.
Yeah.
Are we getting a name, or are you respecting their privacy?
He'll tell me off air.
Oh yeah.
You know what? Oh wait, did you put it in the private chat? Because I'll look at that shit right. Oh.
Okay, I can.
Yeah, put me in the private chat, and I can look at that, and then I can tell you if I think it's really funny. I won't name names. I think that's rude. Yeah, yeah. That dude. Thanks, Brett.
Yeah.
Dude, the funniest part about that sketch is that like I came up with the way of doing it, and I told Joey, I was like, "Listen, dude, I think there's nothing funnier than an uke that just dies, like a true Mr. Science death. where it's like as you're explaining what's happening to them. And that's the guy who tagged me, the guy who's that. He's like, dude, can you believe this? We're trendsetters. Boom. That's so great. Jordan, let me see what. Interesting. Okay. Hey, good for you, dude. I haven't rolled with him, so I don't know.
Yeah. It was off of a north-south, and he just wasn't expecting it. Tried to turn to his knees, and he couldn't.
I mean, it's one of those ones where you don't have too much time to really set course somewhere else.
Yeah, and I don't even know why my body like I wasn't even thinking that. It's just like I immediately went hooks in, and I was like, well, I guess that's how it's going down right now.
Hey, well, here's the thing. I don't know Derek. I don't know if his acumen knows pro wrestling. Did he know it was a pro wrestling move?
I think he's probably heard it from the 10th Planet guy that does it. What do they call it? I don't remember.
It's not important.
Yeah, he's a big 10th Planet terminology guy. So
I mean, that's fine if he is. It's just not right.
Yeah.
So to me, I like the fact that when somebody created, there was a dragon. What is it? Scorpion Deathlock. And it's essentially kind of like a weird Kimura wrist lock that you're in side control, like a twister side control. And you kind of get that arm stuck, and it's really, really nasty if you do it right. But they're like, yeah, that's a Scorpion Deathlock. And I was like, this isn't Sting. That's not a shooter. You shut your fucking whore mouth. That's not at all what that is. I was like, call it something else. There's 1,000 other names. That's not the right one.
I'm guilty of that because Adam Bradley, a guy from out in San Diego, he hit it at a subspectrum, and that's just what
Adam is.
Yeah, he was. That's what he was calling it. So I was like, well, I'll just use his name. Like it sounds crazy, and it's gonna get people to click on it. So
I know what you're doing, and I don't hate you for it. I'm mad at you because you know better.
Yeah, I do. I don't know what I would even call it. Like a modified.
I don't know, literally anything else. There's 1,000 different names you could have for it.
Yeah.
And Ige pulling off a win. And let me see here, Bradley. You said that you but you'd like to see some kind of upset here. You got your wish, sir.
That was a really good fight. I gotta be honest. That's like the first thing I gotta say about that whole thing is that everyone was constantly moving. There was constant action from both sides, and I think too often at the top levels of MMA, you get guys that are. I don't know. That was just a really great fight. I'm happy. I do think Dan did enough, and I'm happy about that decision. Brett, what about you?
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I kind of picked him as a favorite just because I like him as a grappler, but there was like not that. It was probably like 80% striking, 20% grappling. I think he won the fight with his striking, though. He didn't win it with his grappling.
Raph, what about you?
I'm good with it. I really enjoyed that fight, and I think the thing about it is like if he could survive that Barbosa onslaught and still come up with a win, like I think that's even more impressive going forward for this man's future. Let me go ahead and put up a couple things for you guys that I'm seeing. MMAfighting.com has a quotation that I think I wouldn't call it suspect as much as I would say, really, dude? This is from Anthony Smith. It says, trying to watch the fights from the eyes of other people tonight. One guy's is hitting another guy a bunch. Is this where we start calling for the ref and corners to step in? Also, what point do we get disgusted?
I don't understand.
I mean, I haven't seen any of the previous fights, so maybe there were some big ass kickings, but maybe he just doesn't understand how bad that fight was.
I think someone in his corner, his team should have kept his phone away from him and kept him off social media until he's better. Because I don't trust that he's safe to tweet right now.
I would agree with that.
Friends don't let friends tweet, which, by the way, maybe begs this one too. Tony Ferguson, NXT or XT says, "Respect, you still owe me 20 push-ups. Glad your pocket's doing better. I'll see you soon, kid. Keep training for the real finale. Dash champ."
Now you see, alternatively,
CSO.
Alternatively, this seems like a rational and normal Tony Ferguson tweet that tells me he's doing fine. He's great. Normal Tony. He's probably going to be up and pulling tires across the country and lifting elephants over mountains or some other such crazy nonsense.
This is so like I don't know the variety of different things that you see of well wishes, like Conor McGregor deleting a tweet about Khabib's dad, and then you're going like, oh well, now he's saying something nice. That seems cool. Then a little bit later, you see Tony Ferguson in some of the headlines saying Ferguson sends well wishes to Khabib, and I'm like, kind of. Like half of that seems like a weird challenge. Like, I got to tell you guys, even if I didn't like you, I'm not sure that the first thing I'm going to say to any one of you is, you owe me 20 push-ups. Be like, oh, how's your dad? Fuck you. 20 push-ups, dick.
Hey, Raph, I know your dad just went through radiation therapy, but you owe me 20 push-ups. You know, I hope he's better, but like, get down, bitch.
Yeah, I you know what? Let me tell you this. For a person who loves doing push-ups as much as I do, let's see you try to enforce any part of that. Because I can guarantee you that's not going to go well when I'm like, bro, shut up, man. I'm not even in that space.
I'm wondering what how Tony's brain structures a sentence, let alone a tweet, just a sentence that comes out of his mouth. He's like, all right, what outfit am I feeling today? Ah, yes, batter's gloves. Gotta have my batter's gloves. Next, suit jacket. Hell yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
But it's 50% emojis too, though.
The other thing that's interesting about what Tony Ferguson does is that I feel like he's the only person who gets dressed like one of those 1980s video games that you played at the arcade. Because you ever see when you're talking about putting on gloves, you're like, oh, that's from Streets of Fire. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Half sleeves? That's weird. All right, that's Tony Ferguson. Sunglasses indoors? That man's going to trip over a wire, isn't he?
Sure enough.
Tony Ferguson gets dressed every morning by getting onto a spinning dais and like he's like an avatar in a video game.
I mean, God bless him, dude. It's just, I feel like somebody won 50 coins and made him extremely more and more convoluted as he went on.
We are all NPCs in the video game wherein the player has chosen Tony Ferguson as an avatar. And player 2 is John Jones, and he thinks he's in GTA 5.
I mean, John Jones is, I don't know what you could say about him other than, oh, well, he exists, and he's kind of ridiculous, and oh, look, he's not gotten into trouble today.
I have it on good authority that all of John Jones's problems started while he was living in Iowa.
You have it on good authority?
Yes, absolutely.
Isn't living in Iowa
What's that?
Isn't living in Iowa in and of itself a problem?
Hell no. No, not at all.
Sir, I'm detecting that you have some sort of strange beef with Iowa as a whole.
Who doesn't have beef with Iowa? Come on.
I'm perfectly ambivalent towards Iowa, actually.
Where's BJ? You're BJJ Problems, right?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Salt Lake City. What do you got against Iowa then?
I'm just
not even out here.
Hold on. Let me point out what's happening over here. I know where you're going. A very peaceful human being, but I like the fact that he's like, "Where are you from, bro? Let me see. I'm trying to get over here. Let's find a date, man. You got a map? I don't care if it's COVID. I'll fucking take one for the team.
Send me location. That's all.
Send me location.
I mean, I'll tell you this much, but Jordan, he's pretty good. So I'm not gonna make you guys fight, but I might.
Any guy that can just break into America Top Team and go undetected just by training with the athletes must be really good. If you can just pretend you're supposed to be there and no one questions you on it.
But
I just like hung out with like a certain group, and I was just fine. I was like, nobody said anything.
That's still blowing my mind. I kind of just want to talk about how ridiculously cool that is. That's like School of Rock, where you're not supposed to be there, but you're so good at bullshitting that you're able to run a secret music program after school.
I don't think it was that I was good at bullshitting. At the time, I was just like super quiet, so I just went undetected.
There is a great element, though, Jordan, you have to admit, of you being so quiet that at some point people are like, yeah, Jordan's part of the team, man. He's great, dude. Love that kid. Being like, does he pay dues? Wait, what? Why wouldn't he? How dare you even mention that? Jordan is a member of this team. He is essentially the pillar of strength for this team, guys.
I just think it helped that there was like I knew somebody that was on like the actual MMA team, and they're like, oh yeah, that's just my buddy Jordan. He's just here. He's like he made it seem like I was there training him. Like he always like talked me up like I was way better than I actually was.
That's nice.
So I definitely appreciated that.
Well, let me go ahead and bring up a couple other photos for you guys because I want to show you what happened earlier in the night. So this was from Casey earlier, top of the evening, and look at this. This is an armbar from guard.
Shit.
Can we put the form on there though? The crossed ankles.
I mean, bro, we could talk a lot about this photo for a number of reasons, or the fact that she was telegraphing it for the majority of the fight and was still able to pull it off. Because there's footage of me going, oh yeah, she's telegraphing this armbar. She feels confident. Oh, and there it is. Okay. Because to her opponent's credit, and not credit, I guess you could say, she ended up going hook, line, and sinker into it. I also want to bring up these wonderful photos from MMA Junkie, because if you look at this one coming up right now, I think this tells a really good story about what I was seeing. Actually, I'll pull it down. I'll pull it up in a second. I mean, some of the earlier pre-card fights that I'm not sure everybody got the opportunity to see, there's some stellar stuff that's happened tonight that I'm pretty stoked about. So I'm going to go down this way. Angela Hill, Overkill, is coming up next. For those of you who were very interested in her, we'll have more to go on that in just a second. That photo now just popped up. Here you go. Wabam. As it now blurs its way into existence. I like that it's completely solid for me, and for whatever reason for you guys, it's blurred.
I mean, even blurred, I can tell there's a lot of damage on screen.
It's weird.
Like,
okay. All right. Well, let me ask this. I've already talked with Jordan. Jordan's in the process of beating up chairs. Kevin, you say that soft opening, not looking there. Brett, you said that your school is following the guideline, which is maybe don't do it, but you have the opportunity to do it. When do you guys foresee us getting back to normal in terms of grappling?
Well, I'm going off of, I was able to talk to Flavio Almeida of Gracie Baja, and he was the first guy that I remember. Sorry about that. He was the first guy that started putting together some sort of initiative for how the affiliates were going to go forward and how the franchisees as a whole were going to be able to reopen. And not to get into it, the process, like the end process, like the final phase was at least like 3 months away from now in terms of like, well, that's when we'll start live rolling. So he could open, according to him, on a county by county basis, they could start opening for classes in like 6x6 foot squares and like super low numbers as early as like next week. But that we're so far away from live rolling, and even when they get to the last phase, it's going to be live rolling with one guy. Like each person is paired up with one person, and that is your only grappling partner for the foreseeable future. And I don't know if other schools are going to copy that verbatim. Some people are saying that you're going to have to wear a mask while rolling, which seems ridiculous. But no one really knows. Everyone's trying to guess. That's still where we're at. I don't know if any of you guys hear anything different.
I'll go to Brett.
It's hard for me really to have an accurate perspective because everything's been so mild around here. I think we've had like maybe 200 cases verified in the whole state. But at the same time, everybody is following those guidelines that have been put out by the government and our local leaders here. I hope it's going to be soon. I think officially it's not going to happen for a while, but unofficially you're going to get a lot of people in the background doing some open mats that aren't on the schedule, so to speak.
I mean, I already got up 3 notes just doing this tonight of being like, yo, when are we training, bro? I was like, not for a bit. Like, I don't know what to tell you right now, dude.
Yeah, I think, and I think that's going to be, I hate to say it. Well, maybe, I guess it doesn't really matter. I think as long as people are safe or somewhat safe, then the unofficial, behind the scenes, closed door training sessions are going to be, it'll be okay. They'll be able to pull it off without causing any problems. But I think that's going to be one of the things that's going to keep a lot of these smaller gyms afloat, is allowing that kind of stuff to happen behind the scenes.
Let's talk about this, Jordan. I know you're waiting. I know you're going to have to be patient about this. Your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, we're kind of just behind everything. Like our peaks are going to be like 2 months after everybody else's. So we're still just kind of like waiting around for the worst of it to come, which is obviously kind of a odd place to be, but
we got a note on the the cast here that says from Muay Thai 23. It says, I'm from Ireland and drinking Guinness is like having an angel piss in your mouth.
I'll have to agree.
That's apparently what we missed earlier.
I strongly disagree, actually.
Hey, look, I am
it tastes
about
nothing like a leprechaun pissing in your mouth.
I am about as Irish as you can get without being born in Sligo. And I assume Brett is as well. Hello, sir. But
Top of the morning to you.
As I specified earlier, my affair with Guinness was born completely out of accident. So we're gonna have to agree to disagree.
Hey, we start now at the top. It is hello, Omar French. Good to see you, sir. 5 minutes right now. Claudia Galdana, Angela Hill. I'll go around panel asking, Jordan, who do you have in this fight?
Whoever decides that Keith Peterson smells like cigarettes and booze.
Fair enough. I'll go on over to Bradley. Bradley, what do you have on this?
I mean, I said earlier, I'm a big fan of Hill. I like her work ethic. I like her training. Her output. She hits like a motherfucker. I got Hill.
All right. Again, Omar, you're good people. Brett, who do you got?
I'm gonna go with Claudia, despite the fact that she unfollowed me recently for who knows why.
Why did she unfollow you?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she just went through a spring cleaning of her people she follows. But she's always been a really powerful force in the women's divisions. And I like her grappling and striking. She's a really well-rounded fighter.
Good for you. I'm glad. I would have been petty. I would have been like, I'm not rooting for her. She stopped following us.
Man.
But seriously, this is like a pretty interesting fight. You've obviously got like Claudia, who was at the top of the division at one time and has kind of been hanging out there for a while. And Angie, who didn't she get cut at one time, I believe?
I think so, yeah.
And then she's kind of climbed her way back, and now she's putting herself in title contention. So if she can get this win over Claudia, that'll put her in a position to get a title shot. So it is
Jordan
an
has
fight.
Jordan brings a good point. Like there's a lot there. Like there's sort of it's a crossroads for both fighters at this point. And it's interesting to see where what this fight will mean in 2 years in the broader terms. Like is Claudia going to be back at the top of the heat? Is Hill going to be making a run for it? Yes, I heard what I did there.
No. I'm not laughing. I'm laughing at what I've got in store. I'm gonna wait
really?
until we get to the middle, in between rounds, because I just found a meme that I chuckled at. So the hard part about this is, I tell people, I'm like, listen, when we're doing these events, I can pull on, your memes, your photos, all that sort of stuff. It's just hard to see what's going on. This one just happened to be brought to my attention, so I'll share it in between rounds.
Hey, Jordan, not to distract from the fight, but do you think, just because from talking to you, you seem like an incredibly chill person, if you had just continued to ride it out at American Top Team, do you think you just chill your way into cornering Amanda Nunes, and suddenly she's thanking you as a longtime teammate and compatriot? Like, Jordan, I wouldn't have beaten anybody without you. You're the linchpin of this whole operation.
I don't think so. No, I think I would have been found out. I think I was getting to the point where people were starting to be like, "Is this guy even paying?" Because I wasn't going through the front desk. They always saw me coming in through like the back, where all of the athletes come through. They're like, "We know this guy's not on the MMA team." It was only a matter of time. So I think I got out of there right at the right time.
Hey, Margie, did Jordan pay? Yeah, no, but like he's so chill that like he'll get around to it.
Look at that mustache.
Yeah.
No, I didn't have
we'll be fine.
I was babyface back then.
Oh, you grew the mustache to hide your identity. So
yes.
Claudia with the great takedown over there, worked very hard for it. Ends up making from kind of a back control trip. Just looks beautifully
side
done.
Control.
Nice, just a few seconds behind. We got it.
Dude. You'll enjoy it when you like it, though.
Yeah, that was nice.
Now has some time to work over from side, and it's looking like she's just putting the pressure on Angela, who's kind of squirming around, but nothing quite impactful in terms of taking any damage just at the moment.
She's not doing anything to really frame from the bottom. She's just like hugging her from the bottom, like not doing anything to create space, get her hips back into play. So I definitely like to see her do that from the bottom. But
this is kind of a minor thing, but do you think she's raising her leg up to try and keep Claudia from advancing? Do you think she would be better off just crossing her legs so she's not having to burn energy by keeping her foot in the air? That's like a very minor thing, but I don't know. It's just something.
Well, it's like she's putting her knee there to block, but if she would just like move her shoulders, hip escape, frame, like she could get her knee in there and like get herself back to her guard and maybe get herself back up to her feet. But right now she's stuck.
I'll tell you one thing. Ooh, I love this. That's great. Losing the position, but still loved every second of setting that up. I would tell you that some people that I know who fight MMA who can get away with this sort of shit, they use that knee to trace where you are. I don't think it feels a lot of the times like they don't want to necessarily concede that they're going to be at the bottom. They're just waiting for when you advance that tracing knee is going to allow them back into the fight. Just as something that I've seen from a number of them. Here's the thing I was going to throw your guys' way. You tell me what you think of it. But this is a meme up from the Strangle Squad, which essentially says, anyone who is rooting for Overeem to beat Walt Harris tonight. And the caption from Vision is, maybe I am a monster. So, no, Bradley, that was not at you. That was 100% when I saw that. I said, that's pretty good. I enjoy that. Kudos to you, Strangle Squad. Always keep up the stellar work, friends.
Oh man.
So the other thing that I find that is kind of hilarious, and I give them kind of a free pass because I enjoy them, but there are some folks who have meme pages that are private, and then I'll have somebody send them to me, and I go, I don't follow them. And they go, oh, man, it's so good. I was like, you better not fucking be lying, because if this comes back to me and it's weak ass, I'm going to think worse of you.
I'm not afraid to follow just to look and then unfollow immediately after that.
Yeah, I just don't want to do that. Like, literally, dude, I'm not behind any paywall sort of thing. I'm not going to go there. And I understand if you're going to go private, because then you could say all the shittiest jokes that you want to say that are coarse, that are vulgar. Like, I understand that. But, you know, I just feel bad for my friends who want to share these memes, and I go, I'm not doing it. Send me a screenshot or nothing.
You better screen that shit.
I'm actually a member of one of the, like, you know, Strangle Squad got into like a few public beef. They've gotten into some beefs like over the over the time they've been on the site. I think they've gotten taken down before. But I'm actually a member of one of their like subgroups that's like the Strangle Bagmen, and that's really, really specific but funny memes that you got.
That's such a terrible name. I love them, but that's a garbage name.
I don't know if they have anything to do with it. It's just like one of the auxiliary accounts that I think they're okay with. It's really specific. Oh man! Oh, Claudia hurt above her right eye. Just
but Angela knocked her down right now and is inviting her to come back up.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, she's
oh crap!
The levels.
Props to Angela. Angela wants to make this a shootout right now, and she's almost allowed Claudia to get back in this right now as we continue. Nice pop there by Angela Hill.
Oof. That overhand right.
That's what I'm thinking. That she's if you follow her, any of her social medias, her hitting the bag, the sound is just deafening. Like she's got a lot of power. Oh, great defense on that.
Yeah.
All right. I'm into what they're putting down on this so far.
Jeez.
This is so stupid. I just every time I look at it, I mean, I'll find you some more in between. I'm just looking to see what's capturing my attention.
I can't think about that. I'm thinking about it, and it's making me laugh. I got to focus on the fight.
Absolutely. Keep your focus, sir.
Is it fucked up that I feel bad for Overeem? Like, there's like either he gets knocked out, either he gets brutally maimed like he did in his last fight, or he wins and no one's happy for him.
Yeah, there's no winning for him.
I'll share this one with you guys, I think, in a second. It's God damn it. All right, at the 2-minute mark right now, Claudia and Angela putting on a very, very cool showcase. That's a good fight so far in. Angela Hill's making quite a statement with their strikes. Claudia has been resilient the entire way through. Does anybody else have this 1-1, or is this going to be a 2-0 affair in favor of Angela?
This is 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah, definitely 1-1.
Okay.
Although, the knockout the KO could happen.
Yeah, it was a clear first round for Claudia. This one's definitely.
Overhand right again for Angela. Oh, Jordan, what did you say? Ooh, nice hit by Claudia on that one. Jordan, how far back are you on this one now? What's your time?
Let's see, 119.
Okay, you're about 13 seconds behind me. Okay, I'm going to try not to give away too much on this then.
Yeah, I'm 106.5.
I'm 102, 101, 100.
Okay, I'm just a couple seconds ahead of you guys, so I'll try and keep things on the polite side. Claudia, very, not lazily, but almost not committedly, goes for a single leg, gives it up. Both of them now continue exchanging on the feet. We're seeing Claudia get just ever so slightly rocked back just slightly.
I feel like that single might have been a feint. It looked like she was setting for something else.
I got bad news for you. Not the time to feint.
Yeah.
I think Angela is wise to that. I think she knows that they both want to keep this one standing up. If you guys get the chance, I guess, a little bit later in the evening, I also want you to go check out Rivera versus Chikazi. It is the weirdest size matchup of the evening, but it's still just ridiculously fun to watch. A Tasmanian devil Mexican go up against a cold, calculated kickboxer, and it is so much fun. Here is the tweet that I guess is getting some attention from Darren Hill. And it is.
He always tweets drunk, and I love it.
Well, it says, "Why don't me and this fat, just fight on Fight Island to settle our differences? He's only a fat mess, and when I smash his clean jaw off, I'm gonna raw dog his bird." Fucking Muppet.
What?
Mike Perry.
He's using British slang all over.
Now, I want all of us to stop and look at that and try and imagine Darren Till's voice saying it, and it's immediately much funnier.
I mean, Darren makes me laugh profusely. I'm a fan. I can't tell if I'm a bigger fan of him tweeting when he's just drunk, though.
Oh, man.
I think it's more entertaining.
Yeah. There's so many reasons why I feel like I should not like him, and they never take. Like, I'm always just at least entertained by what he's doing.
Same.
I mean, he got a lot of crap for missing weight against Wonder Boy, and I think he had weight problems for a little bit.
Again, all the more reason for me to be like, fuck this clown, but instead I go, man, yeah, I'm into it.
Guy.
Good for
I
him.
like it.
It's great.
It's kind of like Josh.
I mean, Josh is also somebody that we keep because
Josh Duke?
Yeah, Josh is somebody that we keep around because when you keep that special kid around because you need to make them feel like they're part of society. Like that's what we do with Josh. It's essentially a Make-A-Wish program that I'm trying to fulfill, but he lived too long.
Well, I mean, we need to know. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, sorry. It's just like the problem is even like a lot of special needs kids know to keep themselves under 400 pounds. So that's
I don't know how well you know him to be doing those jokes. I'll tell you.
No, he's ribbed us a few times, so I'm like I feel
okay. I have a certain policy, which is I don't really do those jokes, but he opened it up, and I think the other time we were doing the show with him, we started doing the fat jokes. He's like, "How many fat jokes is there going to be?" And I was like, "I don't know. How many fat times are you going to be?" I mean, the worst part is I'm like, don't tell me to make a joke about you. That it's okay because now I got to do it.
If it helps, I'm currently way overweight for what I usually am. So I mean, there's no. He's not like I'm not.
Brett, I feel you're fine. You're old enough to know better. When you say you're overweight, Bradley, what do you mean overweight is for you right now?
I'm currently oh man, my brother's gonna kick my ass for this because I'm supposed to be cutting, but I'm 167, and I'm only saying that I usually walk around like in the 50s, so I'm about like 15 pounds over, which is
what are you cutting for? There's no grappling competition to be had.
I mean, no, it's
photo shoot.
Yeah. Huh?
He's got an underwear model photo shoot coming up.
I wish I was that pretty. Unfortunately, no. Yeah, maybe you, Brett. Maybe you can get me into the modeling world. But
well, let's say this, Jordan. Are you above the weight you normally like to be right now? You don't have to specify.
I'm exactly what I always walk around at.
Fuck off. Never mind. I regret asking you.
Who invited
like real one-on-one training? Not much has changed for me. I'm still pretty active. So
gross. Brett,
I would say probably. I usually walk around at like 175, and I'm about 185, 190 now.
Yeah, all of you guys can suck it right now. I'm above where I'm supposed to be, and I'm literally at that point where I'm like, do I have to go jog? Is that what I'm supposed to do? Because I don't want to. I hate all of this other stuff. I hate everything that's not grappling.
It looks like Angela's a little slow, like a little touched up.
She's slow, but the difference, I mean, look at Claudia's face as well. I mean,
the left side of her face is mashed.
She's for sure. It's definitely one that I'm looking at and I go, okay. I mean, Angela maybe has enough. I don't know. What do you guys feel?
I don't know. There's still a lot of fight left, So
I mean, I got 1 minute left.
Oh, I got 120.
Changed in the beginning of the second round in Angela's favor. Especially after that takedown where Angela just stood up and said, "Okay, let's go."
Fair enough. Good work, Jordan, by the way. I appreciate you putting that up.
Putting what up?
You just tagged us on your Instagram. And you BJJ Probs.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Appreciate that, Brett. All right. As we continue to make it through The last 40 seconds here could be critical, could be not. Depends on if you ask Keith Lee, the judge, or Keith Robertson, who might just kill it and just say, fuck it, I'm going to end this fight just to show you, Dominic Cruz.
Is Dana wearing a peach shirt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bold choice.
It's called.
He almost looked shirtless.
It matches his.
Ooh. Nice elbow.
It just stands out too. Like my eyes are drawn to it.
Yeah, that's weird. Final 10 seconds. Gents, I'll ask you this with the intention of it being maybe too soon to speak. Close to fight of the night, or do you have a different fight so far for fight of the night?
I think it's up there. I think there's 3. I think Alves. Who was it? Fuck.
Barbosa.
Alves, Barboza, and
No.
Era and Yadong are up there too.
Fair.
I think it's fight of the night just because of the ramifications. You know, there's a lot on the line for the strawweight division. It's the co-main event, so a lot of times those fights get a little bit more, I don't know, respect when it comes to the bonuses. So far, fight of the night. But I also haven't watched a lot of the other fights, so don't even listen to me.
Every time.
What's up? What's that? I can't stick to my point. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying, like, literally, you're the person who hits the landing in gymnastics and then looks after they give the scores and you go, actually, I cheated. Sorry, guys. Took steroids that whole time. Oops.
And then everyone in the gymnastic gym is like, Jordan pays to be here, right? I'm sure he does. Yeah.
I will say one thing about Josh not being here is we do not know the status of Megan O'Leary tonight.
Yeah.
You guys have any inputs? Nope. Okay.
I just like the fact that Josh always speaks like that's the one thing we bring him on for is the Megan O'Leary correspondent.
He's like, all right, guys, just wanted to let you know, tuning in here ringside with Megan O'Leary, and she is looking great. Like,
signing off. See you guys a little bit later.
I think I feel.
Thank you, Star-Lord. Thank you for your input.
I think I feel the same about Megan O'Leary as Kevin feels about Iowa.
Ambivalent. Okay.
We have a split.
Completely ambivalent.
All right. Wait, it's a split decision? Angela Overkill. Okay. Need to answer off.
Wow. Okay. I'll let you guys react as you see it.
Holy shit!
Wait, damn it. Ah,
Ow.
motherfucker.
Like I wanted her to win, but I don't think she won.
All right, Brett, tell us why.
She didn't win those last 2 rounds. She for sure didn't win those last 2 rounds. She came out strong. But in those last 2 rounds, Angela Hill picked her apart.
Jordan, what do you think?
I think it was pretty clear 2-1 for Angie Overkill. But what are you going to do? Bad split decisions.
Not much. Bradley, what do you got?
Yeah, no, I think we're all kind of in the same. I know I was vocally Team Hill before this, but I feel vindicated in that we're all sort of saying the same thing. Yeah, that's a bummer. I do know she looked a little wobbled compared to the second round and the third, but I still think she did more than enough to stay ahead. And that second round was more dominant than Claudia's first round, even though Claudia was doing a lot from top position. She wasn't able to maintain that kind of control for the whole round. Raph, what do you think?
It's a little heartbreaking for Hill, but I mean, on a close fight like that, I'm not super upset. I feel like it's one of those unfortunate situations where I would like to have seen Hill try to take advantage and put her away. And I think every time, like, it's moments like that when you see her saying, like, stand back up and letting her back into the fight that you go, man, I kind of wish you just kept on her on the ground and maybe made a little bit more of a statement. It's hard to look at those things, but I'm not super upset, I guess is what I'm saying. This is an interesting statistic. Claudia now is in a 4-way tie for the most wins at strawweight, tied with Angela Hill, oddly, as one of the 4 individuals in there. So that's a pretty interesting little factoid for you kids.
Do you think there's anything to, like, I know a lot of people don't care about the storylines in non-championship contention, and this is like a no audience affair. Do you think there's anything to a rematch, like at this point, for either of them, or
maybe, but neither of them? Well, let me put it to you this way: if you're Claudia, you don't want to entertain that because if you got through the skin of your teeth on that one, you're just fine.
She needs to move on.
How that went. 1 second, I'm gonna pull this up for you guys since we're in between fights. This is from Blasted. It's so stupid. Wow. Blasted also writes, though, in this comment section over here, it says, "That's rough. Angela Overkill won that fight. Florida judges."
Wait, could you go back? Could you go back? I need to see that.
Listen, I'm not gonna play it in case, but Dana White looking like a very confused Zordon in the background. It's pretty magic, so I'll give you that.
That's like the spirit of Cejudo just thrown onto the screen. Like that's him. That's him boiled down to the deepest part of him deep inside, and I love it.
Oh my god. It's so ridiculous. Oh my god. I mean, I'm a fan of Blasted. They do good work. You can look at something like this and say like, magic. They do good stuff. I get it, man. That's not the issue, but Jesus Christ. Let me see what else I can pull up for you guys. Well, listen, we got one fight. I want to make sure we all have time to plug what it is that we have to plug because I'll obviously give you the opportunity before you guys leave, but I want to make sure we do that. Tell us a little bit, Brett, about BJJ Problems and where we can find it and what we can expect from you guys.
So BJJ Problems has been the source for jiu-jitsu memes since the beginning of time. You can find us on Instagram at BJJ Problems, Facebook / BJJ Problems. Just trying to stay ahead of the game with the memes, trying to bring original stuff to you and not redo a joke over and over again. So thanks for everybody who already follows me. And if you're not, do it.
This is as good a plug as any to be like, hey, are you not following us? Fuck you. Do it, dicks. I just got sent one from Bradley. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to plug this in because I'm not really getting a chance to really look at it. So give me a second. What can you tell me about what we're about to see in a second here, sir?
This is just something interesting. It's not anything for me, but I follow this account, Verdict MMA, and what they do is they take like global scorecards. So for any fights that happen, they'll take live fan reactions of who they think won each round, and then at the end of the fight, they'll throw it up. It's they're sort of they want to challenge traditional scoring just because it's proven to be flawed in some ways. So I always like to look at what the global consensus is compared to what the actual results were.
Walk us through what they say.
Well, they like us, they gave Claudia round 1, but rounds 2 and 3, apparently most people thought that Hill had it. And so I just thought it was interesting that it clashed with it's close. You could see it right there. But I thought it was interesting that seemingly most people agreed with what we had.
Jordan, what make you of this? Because I saw you squinting at it. So
I was trying to figure out how what the numbering was and everything. So it's just like an average round score for each. It looks like. So does the 10-0 mean that nobody had Angela winning the first round? That's pretty impressive. That's
first
impressive.
round. The first round is 10-9. So
okay.
Claudia that. Then they get into weird decimal points, which
Yeah.
I guess is probably based on the fan vote, kind of swaying it one way or another. So then there's a difference of 0.87. So it's kind of a weird way of computing the score, but it's
Yeah.
trying to give a bigger aggregate, if I'm guessing correctly here.
It's going more about. I think it's the system is a little less refined. It's just going off of like average MMA fan. You saw those exchanges. What did you think? And I only brought it up because if it was really wildly out there, I don't think I would have thought it worth talking about. But it seemed pretty in line with what we had to say, and so I thought it might be interesting just because it reflects a global consensus.
Nothing to back away from there. That's good analysis. I'm glad you were able to bring that up to our attention as we scour on there. Brett, did you have any observations or notes from this one?
I mean, I thought it was a little bit more decisive than this. Like,
okay.
The scoring is like literally like a hair, like 0.31 for Angela Hill. I thought the second and the third rounds were a lot more decisive than that.
Fair enough. All right. Well, ladies and gents, I'm happy to tell you we are already making our way to the final bout of the evening, as you've got Walt Disney Harris making his way out. Oh God, that's rough to see, dude.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what you're saying, and if you can summarize why there's so much emotion in this fight, Jordan.
I mean, obviously, just losing a child, I can't even imagine. The first time back in the octagon since that, obviously he wants to put on a great performance in her honor, and it's definitely an emotional thing.
I can say this is one of the few times I miss the audience because, in a lot of ways, watching these fights without input is good. But I feel like this guy deserved like the standing O that he definitely would have gotten if there were people in the audience, and I feel bad about that.
Does that change anything for him, Brett? Do you feel like he gets a little bit more charge? Has there been enough time in it? Is he just glad to get this fix of being able to fight for anybody right now?
I can't even imagine the position he's in, though. Like, I've experienced loss, and I don't think I would be able to come back as soon as this. Like, it seems like yesterday that we were hearing the news of his daughter, being abducted and having her life taken from her. I honestly have no perspective to be able to say. Like, I think it's great that he's getting back out there. But
I mean, honestly, dude, I don't know how you would put that together. For me, I get in that mode of thinking like, dude, it would take me probably about a year, I think, to get my wits about me again,
How long ago was it? I'm having trouble finding it.
Just at the end of last
4-5 months.
Oh wow, yeah, that's really quick. But I guess probably, I mean, with everything going on with the whole pandemic and everything, he's probably sitting around. He probably figures it's better to get up and work towards something.
Yeah.
You see, he looks good in there. He looks like he's enjoying himself. He looks like he's ready to go. So
definitely has to be his highest profile kind of like bout right now. And especially after this, it's a good opportunity. Overeem offers you a lot of opportunities. So I don't think it's a bad fight for him. I just, Overeem is a weird person to fight. Like, sometimes he's on and sometimes he's not. And you don't necessarily know who you're going to fight other than watching that tape study, man.
I will say that in a vacuum, like tragedy and the world events notwithstanding, this fight makes sense for Walt at this point. He's on the come up. He's got a really good record. Overeem seems to be on the way out, just getting very critically injured in his last few fights. So the game is ruthless, but that's sort of how things tend to line up.
Yeah, I can't tell what he's walking out to. I'm trying to hear the song.
I just muted. I muted it. So
very good. It just kind of grabbed my attention where I was like,
I like it.
Yeah,
I'm about it.
What would your walkout be, Jordan?
What would my walkout be? I don't know. I've had a lot of walkouts, and I've chosen a lot of interesting, different completely different songs all over the spectrum.
What is the weirdest walkout you've chosen then?
The weirdest walkout? I don't know if it's the weirdest, but Everybody Dance Now. I wouldn't say that's like the weirdest, but that was when I walked out to.
Brett, what are you walking out to?
Am I walking out to? Probably what's the redneck song?
You talking Cotton Eye Joe or something?
Yeah, Cotton Eye Joe.
That seems appropriate. Bradley, what's yours?
You're No Good by Linda Ronstadt.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Feeling it.
Okay.
Gotta love Linda.
What about you, Raph? Tell us your walkout song.
So here's what I'll tell you guys. I don't have any desire to be a fighter, so my walkout would be my fight. And I tell people this constantly where I'm like, yo, I want that old school Pride entrance where I'm exhausted by the time I get to the cage. And then I'm like, by the way, I forfeit. That was great. Thank you so much, everybody. Good night. I'm not even at this. I'm just going to literally tell you I'm not fighting this person.
I had it in my head like it's a work for a wrestling fight where you're going to the ring, but like a la Vince McMahon that one time you fake your own death, like you get stabbed by some random guy.
And I mean, I would make it a show. Like, don't get me wrong. There's at least 3 minutes of dance breakdowns and choreography through this. It would exhaust me. But I've always been of the mindset that I would rather make the entrance than do any part of fighting. Because when I look at it, I'm like, not interested. You know when you're a competitor. Like, that's why it's so fascinating to me when all my friends are like, bro, you got to get out there and compete. I was like, okay. No. I was like, I'm in the mindset of I do what I want. Like, if I want to, I would. And that's just kind of how I've always operated. To me, I would rather be really good at this than be like somebody who's like, man, I got to get out there. And more power to you if you know that's you. I think that's a great thing to know about yourself.
He doesn't want to be here. He looks like I feel like I'm the bad guy.
To be fair, there's a lot of people who, if you're walking out there thinking like, bro, I don't want to hurt this guy. He's been through enough already. All right. We're now going to the last fight. What's up, Derek? I've heard a great story today.
You gonna tell it or
No, I'm just that's all I'm gonna say, Derek. I heard a great story. I could hear a great story and say hello to Derek at the same time. Can I?
Derek, just tune in.
Mm-hmm. So,
what's up, Derek? Derek's in Arizona right now.
What's he doing out there, man?
I have no idea, to be honest.
Well, Derek, I don't know you, but Mazel Tov. Hope you're having a good night.
He's a good competitor. You should get to know him, my friend.
Oh, sweet.
He's somebody I enjoy watching compete. I mean, there's a whole bunch of guys that I never have met, but I'm clearly very familiar with what they do. So it's always nice to, when they watch us, they do that, they send a note. And Derek's always one of those guys who shows up whenever we've got live streams or videos or content, always sends well wishes. So I always appreciate that about him.
Derek sounds like a stand-up dude.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm saying that I don't know Derek.
Let me see over on this side. Oh God. Flow Grappling does have a video of Florida Boy, aka AJ Arzon, walking out with his nunchucks.
Is there time to?
I wanted to see the Dragon Sleeper.
I'm not putting on any of those clips. UFC won't ever know who we are, but Flow Grappling going to take every opportunity to go, who put that?
Do they actually do that? I haven't dealt with too much of them.
They do.
That's unfortunate.
I can only say I'm disinclined to comment directly on Flow Grappling as they are our competitors, but we respect them. And we think their streaming platform is totally reliable all the time and great, and they're awesome. And that's all I'll say about that.
Like sponsorships from them or something?
No, we just like there's a bit of beef, but it's all in good fun.
Yeah, it's yellow journalism beef between the two of them. It's always a race to see who can be less credible.
I won't hide my disdain. It's like Flow Grappling and Hywel Teague immensely.
More power to you, bud. I know. I would tell you this, that as I see things going through, I want to make sure that people see this coming on their screens. It's going to be about 5 minutes in just a second, but I want to make sure you guys are synced up. You got Overeem, you've got Harris, and let's let, I guess, the fight gods tell us what happens in front of our eyes as we go now.
All right.
Boom.
Did anybody feel like Harris is going to take this? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I hope he does. That's all I can say.
I think he's got a good chance, especially with the Overeem team as of late.
Fair enough, Jordan.
He's got to win. He just has to.
I'm so glad that you put no pressure on the kid to make an impact here tonight.
Yeah, I don't think he'll ever hear me say it. So,
Jordan's the guy that's like, you got to win, man. You got to win. A lot of riding on you tonight.
Ooh, solid kick by Reem.
Mm.
I think Raph, you really summed it up by it's weird to fight Overeem, like even now I don't really know what we're getting.
He's an X factor, dude. I mean, as much as I'd like to say I know how he's going to fight here tonight, Harris coming in with a barrage of strikes over. Referee's not stopping it, though.
Oh, shit.
They're letting this play out, and now it looks like Reem is covering up. Nope. Reem's back up.
Wow.
Back down.
Oh, no,
Nope,
he's
down
hammer
again.
fist. Oh, crap.
A lot of covering up, and this is a breadbasket punch right over here. Harris is trying to finish this as best as he can, and Reem is just eating these shots right now. Could put some distance, tried for a heel hook.
He's not even.
One time
Done
we
yet,
get early.
Oh,
Reem with a switch out doesn't quite make it out.
I
Now
just saw
it's
the
in a
heel.
clinch.
Oh, wow.
Woo!
Here's the thing. He might be gassed now. Holy
I
crap.
think his lips ripped open again.
Again?
I think so.
Man.
Maybe not. Maybe it's just
multiple
his
spots here.
Oh,
Reem
man.
with the knee to the midsection to kind of create some distance from Harris. Harris does not want to let up on him. I think Reem is Reem just basically backhands him into the corner and now has an opportunity to get a submission, which should not happen. He's still able to pull him down. Now you're seeing Harris work from guard, which is not a great guard because Reem is already passed and now is working from side control. This is not a good position for somebody who is arguably winning. Reem is going to be able to rain down supreme. And if
It was not arguable. He was winning. Oh, wow.
Right now, Reem has great risk control where Harris can't necessarily protect himself at the moment, but he is climbing ever so slowly. Harris now, I think, is feeling the effects of having a person who weighs maybe, I don't know, 1 million pounds heavy at this point. This is very, very interesting.
Well, here's the thing. This is also giving Reem time to just recover. Like he could just sit there and breathe for a little bit without getting shot at. And Harris is he's got to be tired. I mean, he expended a lot of energy. You could argue that fight should have been stopped. Like,
I don't think anybody would have argued either.
I mean,
if they did, it would have been like good for Walt Harris. Everybody would have.
It could have been stopped 2 or 3 times in that exchange.
Cejudo's probably wishing Mergliata was running his fight.
I mean, to be fair, Reem did get up. I don't know that his face looks like it's great, but he's still in it, and he still looks of a certain kind of ability. And I mean, if you're looking at Walt Harris right now, he's not in a world of hurt, but this is not where you want to be against somebody who does have knockout power.
This is going to be a lot of Walt
Does
Harris.
he have knockout power from there, though?
Here's the thing, dude. You don't have to have knockout power. You can have the ability to not defend yourself power. And right now, Harris is
He's got the arm wrapped up so he can.
Those fingers out of it.
Oof. Now you're seeing Harris also a little bloodied up, and I can't get the feel on if that's his blood or if he's just carrying down parts of Overeem's blood on top of him.
Might just be dripping.
He's just in an awkward
Overeem's blood.
position. Reem is doing a great job keeping that hand unable, like he's keeping him twisted up. with his right hand.
Yeah, he's got his.
That left knee's in a good place to like keep his hips turned over just enough where you can control him and push him up against the fence.
Give Reem some credit though, his accuracy on finding a lot of these openings wherever you see Harris's hands kind of blocking him. He's really, really connecting with a certain percentage. I mean, there's a reason why Overeem has a high percentage in the UFC. It's one of the, if not the highest percentage strikers of all time. Ugh, knee, no, don't knee me there. Oh,
Reem is
Okay,
doing
well,
controlling Harris's hips.
is he gonna? Are we gonna see the end of the round?
Yes,
we do.
All right.
I can tell you this from the future, and Harris is looking pretty tired over here. Let's go over and see what Reem looks like, cameraman. No, you don't want to do that? All right.
Call the fight because his
Try.
leg did in fact open.
Reem is over on the side. It looks like they're trying to attend to his cut, and it seems like his corner's trying to say we need to get back on top right now. I like the idea of when a quarterman just tells you, breathe, breathe, bud. I'm like, are you conjuring a monster out of this? That's what they do in like fairy tales? The heel hook attempt.
I bet even Reem felt like a dirtbag doing that.
Yo, I will let you know this right now. If Jordan started punching me and was in a good spot, I'd try to heel hook him. And that's even with knowing, like, yeah, I've seen him get out of some heel hooks. So I don't know how successful this is going to be.
I'm a leg lock guy. I fully get it. I just, I guess I need to stop making Reem out to be the bad guy here. Like, it's not his fault.
That's all right.
I think if Overeem hadn't have tried that heel hook, then Walt Harris would have stayed on top and finished the fight.
Yeah. He wouldn't have got the time he needed.
It was perfectly there. I get that's what you go for. I'm surprised. Oh man,
Jordan, do you have any heel hooks that got away?
Any heel hooks that got away? What do you mean?
Yeah, like in a match or your combat where you go, man, I'm going for this heel hook, but it just didn't happen.
No, I always get the finish.
Well, shut up. Nobody asked you.
Jordan, you're so fucking chill, man. Do you have any merch? I want to buy it.
I do indeed.
Oh
It's
shit!
great merch, by the way.
Throw a link in the private chat. I just got paid today. I'm gonna buy some.
I appreciate that, man. Thank
I'll tell you this match. Gordon's. I keep want to call you Gordon at this point. That's how you know.
He's not a dick. You don't have to call him Gordon.
Jordan's actual like his design is very, very solid.
Oh, sweet.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
342 beginning in this second round. You forget that these are going to be 5-round fights if it goes the distance.
Wow. I totally that completely slipped my mind.
Ooh. Sorry, guys. Bad news.
Oh, fuck.
Ugh. This is a generous ref, is all I can say to you guys.
Yeah.
Dan is a maniac.
Mergliotta's.
I mean, Harris is covering up, and I think the ref might be arguing these aren't like knockout strikes. They're just kind of putting some heat on Harris, but none of them are.
Big old shoulder there, too.
Hey, Dan, how about you let Overeem get on top of you and just pepper those shots and see how you feel?
I mean, I think we're getting closer to the ref wanting to interject, but he is blocking. Now, Overeem trying to get another hook in here, flattening him out. This is the no bueno part.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that against the cage, too. There's nothing you can do with him now.
And the hard part is if he just tries to, like, reverse the position and let him take mount, that's almost an even worse decision, but it's better because at the very least it shows you're trying to get out of this. This is just him curled up and not really fighting back. So this is a strange position. Reem now trying to put that arm underneath to see if he can get a choke there. This has been almost about a minute of Harris turtled up and just protecting, and now the ref is going to go ahead and call it, my friends.
Damn.
And Reem did not want to do any part of that. Reem is now going over to console him, paying his respects. It seems like Harris is probably feeling the emotions of the moment, and who can blame him, dude? This is not exactly how you want things to end, but I mean, Reem being super gracious in his victory over right now.
Be interesting to see what he's saying too.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we might have to wait for an embedded on one of those or something in the future where they tell us. But man, ooh, Reem with that overhead right kick, beautifully found and just
Started it off.
Yeah.
Oh, you forget, like you look at Reem being tall, and you forget his torso isn't that big. It feels like most of his height's in his legs, so he can really extend on that. Jesus, that's not fun to see.
I think the hard part is I think Harris will understand he wasn't knocked out.
Yeah.
And I think he'll feel like he didn't quite go out on his shield kind of vibe, but like I think he knows deep down there really wasn't much he could do from there, and it's just an unfortunate situation. So that's terrible to see.
It'll be at the insult to injury will be added to the fact that he almost finished him in the first round.
Bro, it's going to be tough for anybody to kind of feel as they watch it a little bit later. I think all of us who watched that first round went, "Oh shit, look at that. He's going to do it, dude. He's going to be able to pull it off." And I don't know if maybe they let it go on for too long. I couldn't be the one to tell you guys. Oh, all right. Well, let's wait while they get around to do the official decision. But I'm going to give Bradley, tell us about where people can find you and all that good jazz.
Gotta shake off me being bummed for a little bit. Just thanks again, Raph, for having me. But you can feel free to hear more about what myself and other guests of this episode, Kevin Gallagher, have to say on the Jiu-Jitsu Times podcast. We interview different guests in the MMA, Jiu-Jitsu, submission wrestling scene. You can follow all my work at KBrads on KBrads BJ_BJJ on Instagram. You can make sure to follow whenever I post stories. Be sure to follow the Jiu-Jitsu Times news site on all social media. Yeah, that's about it.
Appreciate it. We're now going to hear, I believe, from Overeem with Felder. I'll see if I can give you guys a summary of what's being said as it's coming through.
I'll turn that volume up.
Reem looks pretty emotional. Overeem is paying tribute to his team. Harris is just kind of over draped on that cage over on the side. Reem says fighting camps are not a punishment. He loves to do it, which weird phrasing, but okay. Felder's asking him about the control in that second. He's talking about the weight cut. So now they're going to ask him specifically about the finish of the fight. Felder is saying you basically got on top and you didn't let him back into it. He said that he had a feeling that Harris might be looking for the low kick. So basically the big thing to take out is just to never give up. Felder's asking him who he likes next. So he's saying, you know what, let's look at the rankings and hopefully there's another shot at the title. I see Harris still in the ring, and I don't know that I really want to see it. Oh, God.
Oh, man.
I think he won't.
No.
Thank you.
Ah, man.
And now he's basically asking him, hey, man, you had him hurt. I had a feeling he was going to go to him next.
God damn it, Paul.
So Harris is saying thank you to everybody, including the UFC. Appreciation to Dana, all the folks who helped put this together. He's also saying props and thank you to his gym and his team. His team just looks devastated for him, man. I think part of the reason why he's speaking right now is he's saying thank you to his community, thank you to everybody for their help. Saying thank you to the fans. He knows that they couldn't be there tonight, but he appreciates every one of them. He says he's going to heal emotionally and physically, and he promises everybody that he'll be better. And Paul Felder is saying, we can't wait for you to come back in. You did a great job here tonight. All right. Well, didn't necessarily need to have that happen, but I guess I understand why we had to do it.
Who's cutting onions, man?
What's that?
Who's cutting onions?
I mean, there's only so much you can expect from something like that where what's the appropriate thing to do? If he's able to speak, you probably feel he's got something to say to thank the people who went out of their way. And I will say, before the pandemic, that was one of the good things that we saw from our community was everybody coming together to share that photo and try and get the awareness out there for his stepdaughter. But, it's still tough to watch when the type of emotion that's coming into it. So unfortunate result, but I think he might have made some fans tonight. I think people were probably very impressed with the performance he had.
I mean, he owned that the first part of round one. Like, it was incredible. He was on point. He was very controlled. Other refs would have stopped that fight. We've seen fights stop for less, so I think that definitely means something. And I'm not gonna say he came back too early. I'm not him. I'm not in his head. I'm not gonna make that call. I think that would be disrespectful to make that call. The man came back when he wanted to come back. Yeah. All I could say is I can't wait for his next fight.
Well, do you guys want to see the latest tweet that may get something out of you?
Get something out of me.
Listen, I can't promise you it's going to do anything else other than maybe give you a chuckle, but here you go. Ladies and gents, here is an official response from one Dominic Cruz who writes, loving this ref, send him a gift.
Wow.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, God.
I feel bad that Dom is going to be this guy now. This is consistently what it's going to be, expecting from him. I love that people now are crying in the comment section. There are people who say, I wish I could say from the same for the judges. That's right. Just take the damn L. Geez. Don't be such a puss. I mean, what else do you expect, Dom? But I don't know.
I think there's some middle ground we can find there where they don't stop too early and they don't stop too late. Like, I think he might have, a little bit of a platform to stand on.
I mean, it's just funny. At the very least, I'm at least laughing at it. So I know he's somewhat in on the joke.
Here's the thing. I think the only reason this is like, if this was just a fight with no outstanding circumstances, this would be hilarious. So fully admitting that.
I mean, listen, dude, I'm entertained by it, even if it's highly stupid. I gotta say, Dom Cruz putting that out there is pretty spectacular. Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, what do I got for you guys? I've also got Jordan. You've got the opportunity to go and talk about what's going on in your neck of the woods. Tell us why people should listen to Jordan Jitsu Doesn't Work, sir.
Yes, I have the floor.
Dude, I was like, plug back in your microphone, you dork. I'm never going to give you the floor again.
You're muted still.
Oh, God. Unmute yourself.
Wow.
We can't.
No. Holy shit.
Jordan, I'm putting you back on the show.
We're back.
Welcome back, buddy.
Okay, I'm going to put you up on the center square. Go.
I'm Jordan Peitzman. All right. No, but you guys can check out my podcast. My promotion, a lot of the stuff that I do is about trying to give a spotlight to people that normally wouldn't get it. So if you're an up and coming like purple, brown belt, even a black belt that maybe just isn't getting a lot of shine, you want to come on my podcast, you can come on. We'll talk. We can watch matches, do whatever you want to. It's a pretty open form podcast. Not really any structure to it, just having fun conversations with people that I enjoy talking to. And then, when everything's back up and running after the pandemic, we got Subspectrum, another grappling promotion for people, kids, teens, adults, all the way up to the pros, putting on matches for jiu-jitsu entertainment. So check that out. We've got merch at the subspectrumbjj.com/shop. And you can follow me on Instagram at Jordan_jitsu. That's all I got.
Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate you were able to rally at the very last second together.
Hey, classy, San Diego.
Oh my God, that was. There's still a lot to process with Walter.
Dominic Cruz is such a bastard. I kind of love it.
Okay, I'll tell you what I really feel about the Dominic Cruz situation, which is that I really like him on the commentary booth. I think he's great. I think he rubs some people wrong because he's actually smart and doesn't speak like an idiot. DC. But a lot of the times when he is articulating his point, and sometimes smart people can be very off-putting to people because they are articulating things a certain way. So I see some of my friends going, I don't know, man. I don't like the way he talks. And I was like, talks just fine, dude. Like, I don't get it.
I think it's kind of funny when him and Rogan will get into like little, almost like arguments on the broadcast because one of them thinks they know more than the other, and usually Dom knows more.
The hard part is Joe's speaking from a broadcaster role and Dom is speaking from a fighter role. Mm-hmm. And though Joe has a very, very credible amount of knowledge as both a Taekwondo black belt and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, like Dom's no slouch and speaks very well and articulates it. So even if there are differences of opinion, nobody ever looks at the two of them and goes, what it is Joe is used to being the knowledgeable guy. And when he has somebody who challenges him or somebody who seems more knowledgeable than him, it usually is like, hey, listen, don't come in like that. So it's so hard for me to see, though, Dom eat it because I said, man, I wish he got a few seconds more, but I understand the stoppage. And now he's getting roasted so bad. And I told somebody, I was like, dude, I hate seeing Dom get roasted. But I also love seeing him get roasted, so I'm in a weird spot.
It's crazy because one of my favorite moments in MMA, in the lead up to any fight ever, is Dominic Cruz and TJ Dillashaw having like a media sit down. And Dillashaw is trying to bring up the fact that he went to college. Dom's like, you're an idiot. And he's like, man, I'm not even talking to you. And then Dominic just looks at him and goes, it's an interview, dummy. You got to talk to me. What are you going to do? Not, you idiot. And he's just so – in that moment, I became a huge Dominic Cruz fan. But I also – one of my great fears in life became if Dominic Cruz just up and decides to be mean to me, regardless of how crazy that sounds, if he just decides to be mean to me, I'm finished. I'm done. I'll walk into the ocean. It's right there. I'm on a coastal town. I'll do it.
I have no issues with him being a smart guy. I've also heard rumors of a couple of my friends going up and saying like he wasn't nice to them, and I was like, yeah, sure, probably. I don't know your business. Maybe you're a dick to him. I can't tell you. I would totally believe it within the realm of possibility. I meet him, and then I come back to you guys a week later. I'm like, he's a dick, dude. He's just a dick, you know. But for my money, I'm like, for what he does, I enjoy it. But at the same point, I understand how the internet works in terms of memes, and I get it. He deserves to get memed, and he deserves to be made fun of, and I think he'll come out of it just fine. But for the next year or two, that's all you'll see in the comments from morons. And the sad part is I hate when the morons win. Having said that, I also enjoy when the memes are funny, and most of them have been very funny with Dominic Cruz. Do you have any feelings on that, Brett?
No, not really.
I mean, you're a meme maker. You understand the business of sometimes you're everybody's favorite, and the next week nobody cares about you.
Yeah, I've never really been able to find very much meme material with Dominic Cruz. I tend to have a little bit of a negative opinion on his fighting style, but I am not even close to his skills, so I tend to not really voice it very much. But yeah, not really any opinion either way.
Okay. So neutral is good enough for him, I'm sure. All right, well, let's start to close this thing up. I think we're supposed to cheers. I think we're supposed to cheers Overeem, and I don't necessarily feel like it. I just responded to somebody who put up goats around one Alistair Overeem, and I couldn't help but go, is that horse meat? I can't really see the icons.
Oh, Raph, you're a dick.
No, it's appropriate.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, here's what we're going to do. I'll go ahead and toast this one. This one goes out to Alistair Overeem. I will say this to you. That was an excellent comeback. Not only was it fun to watch, but it was even better to watch you go ahead and pay tribute to Walt Harris at a time when every one of us feels for his situation. You showed that you were a true martial artist when you went over to him. So congrats to you, sir. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
Stay hydrated.
I don't think we're ending on a PSA, so I think we're going to tell everybody here, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to let these guys go ahead and do one last thing. You don't have to say, you can plug whatever you want, but I'm going to give you one last time to address the audience. We'll start over with Kevin. Go.
Yeah, once again, Raph, even though you spent a lot of the time belittling me and calling me young and a kid and a baby, I do appreciate the time and being able to come onto the show. It was great. Jordan, Brett, thank you very much. You guys seem like absolute studs. Yeah, once again, you can catch all of my work at the Jiu-Jitsu Times website. Go follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You could also follow me at KBradsBJJ on Instagram. That's where I'm most active, and I post most of the content that I produce there. You can follow the Jiu-Jitsu Times podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, and we're not on Spotify yet, but we also do a video version on YouTube. So go follow the Jiu-Jitsu Times YouTube channel, and that's about it.
I was on their show. It was quite good. It was a great experience. Our thanks to Kevin Gallagher as well. The two Kevins, for whatever reason, I guess Kit couldn't find anybody else with any other name. He's not a very smart person, so I'm sure that's part of the reason why. Brett, what do you got for us?
I just want to say thank you to you, Raph. Appreciate you having me. It was good to talk to Jordan and Kevin, and the limited time we had with the other Kevin.
I'm just glad you phrase it like that because it sounds like, before he died, that other he was good people, man.
It took 7 alligators to kill him
or something. Well, but you can catch me at BJJ Problems on all your platforms. Reach out to me. I do have my phone number posted to my account, so if anybody wants to send me a text message at any time, I do respond, or I try to respond to all the text messages I get. I like to keep a pretty personal level of communication with everybody who wants to have it with me. Again, thanks a lot for having me again, Raph, and good to talk to you, Kevin and Jordan.
No problem. And again, when Brett says that he's really good about keeping in touch with people during the pandemic, he's one of those people who, from the get-go, has been really good about making sure, especially from what I've seen, people are included, people feel welcomed. There's been a lot of Zoom action, like just good people. And I'm glad one of the few bright spots of the pandemic so far has been able to talk with him and the good folks that he has. I'll go ahead and pull it on. Jordan, what do you got for us?
Well, thank you for having me, Raph. I appreciate your kind words, Kevin. So go follow Kevin, everybody. Brett, he trusts you guys with his phone number, so don't send him dick pics. And if you guys want to check out my stuff, at Jordan_Jitsu, at Subspectrum, at Jordan Jitsu doesn't work. Yeah, that's all we got.
It's good stuff. All right. Again, my thanks to everybody here on the conversation. I'm glad we were able to pull together an entirely new group of folks. One of the great things about doing shows like this is you get the opportunity to hear multiple perspectives for crazy fights, if we're being honest. Before we sign off, I want to remind you guys of a couple things. Number one, we are going to continue our series of interviews in our hashtag Save Jiu-Jitsu Gyms interview series. We're trying to interview as many folks as we can who own gyms, who are working through the pandemic, hearing their ideas. Some of them are going back right now. Some of them are still trying to figure out how to go back. And I figured that the more voices and perspectives we can hear, the better that we can do as a community. So we want to thank you guys for tuning in today. We especially appreciate all of you who stuck with us from the very beginning all the way to the very end. It was a grand time. We'll probably end up doing another one of these, maybe Submission Underground. There's going to be that weird UFC day on the 30th and then Submission Underground. We'll see what we're up for on those 2 days, but that's towards the end of the month. So we thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time, especially over the past 8 days, seeing us 3 times like this. We know it, but we'll be back on Grappling Hour this Monday, and we'll have some more interviews for you guys. But until then, this is your good friend Rafa Esparza saying thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate your time. We'll see you back on the mats.